Hi, everyone, and welcome to the final of the OTA Lockdown Enduro Cup, part of Season 3 of the OTA Esports Series, presented by our friends at Hip Motorsports, DriverMod, and Ontario Time Attack. The finale, as we look at our schedule over here, is at Circuit Paul Ricard in France, and our drivers today are driving the Dallara Formula 3 17. I got my pal Josh Cronin in the booth with me. Say hi, Josh. Say hi to the people.
Hello. How are we doing?
We are doing great. Drivers are just qualifying right now, but before we get into that, let's take a little word from our sponsors, and we will be back in a jiffy.
Big thanks to Philip at DriverMod.ca, who has been so instrumental in putting these OTA esports series on. You can check out his website, DriverMod.ca, where he has all of his musings and writings all about going fast for time attack and otherwise. So make sure you check it out, DriverMod.ca.
If you want to support the folks that put on the series, make sure you go to ontariotimeattack.ca, click on the shop icon, and you'll see there is a brand new OTA e-racing t-shirt. It's awesome blue shirt. We got our little steering wheel on there, cars zooming by, and all the folks that support our series. So make sure you check it out, ontariotimeattack.ca, and make sure to click on shop. Thanks. And we are back, and we are joining the drivers who are currently qualifying right now. Riding along board with Thomas Langiel, who's running in sixth place in qualifying so far. We got five drivers in the 155, so some strong times all around.
Yeah, it's they've been qualifying. They've been putting in some pretty good lap times. It's a pretty easy to drive car, or at least it's a car that's considered a good car. The F317 is probably the most liked Formula 3 chassis, and it's a track that the track's hit or miss, but they've
Yeah,
been doing
Paul.
pretty good times. Decent spread on the times too.
What's gonna be interesting? I mean, Paul Ricard. It's a very fun track to race on. A little bit difficult to pass in some tight race situations. So we'll see how the drivers manage that over the next hour 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean 100%. I'm just running some quick tabulations now on the points and how that's gonna play out.
Oh, Thomas, a little bit of a spin there. Get himself going again. Taking the roundabout way, but seems to get back on track. Let's watch our rejoin, and Thomas is back and running. Let's ride along with Michael, who's now on his outlap.
Yeah, they don't have any different tire for qualifying in this car. They only get the medium compound tire, so that is the disadvantage of you don't get a softer compound for qualifying. But I mean, it also forces you to practice with one, so it's at least predictable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it makes it it's an interesting challenge for the drivers in terms of not having that different tire strategy to lean on. So it's really going to be everyone's on the same set of mediums. How long can we make them last? And that's pretty much the game that's going to be played.
Sorry, I'm still doing my points
Yeah, well, no problem.
tally
I'll enter with a little bit
figure
of
out.
the Dallara, not necessarily fun facts, but some information on the Dallara F317 that the drivers are driving today. So it's an open wheel racing car developed by Dallara, who, as we know, develop all kinds of open wheel cars, custom chassis, things like that. They're the current chassis supplier for IndyCar. Um, Good segue
They
for the
are.
IndyCar joke.
Nah, we're not.
No,
No,
we're not going to do it. We're not
no,
going to
we're
do
not
it.
doing it.
Anyways, so there's suppliers for IndyCar as well as every time I say IndyCar now, I think of the joke. And then Formula 3 as well. So this chassis was released in 2017, and basically all FIA sanctioned Formula 3 championships pretty much use this car. And basically, the last revision was the 2012 F3 car, so the aptly named Dallara F312. And this car is actually very similar. The only tweaks that they made were just some minor aero revisions, but otherwise very similar to the F3 F312 car. Hasn't changed too much over the last what is that, 9 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of found that a 2-liter a 2-liter with a spec chassis really works, and I mean, yeah, that's still a road relevant engine, probably more road relevant than other engines. So there's that.
No,
Just doing
absolutely. I
some,
mean,
just
when it
doing some
comes to
quick.
these, oh, go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when it comes down to these Formula 3 cars, I mean, I guess in the series, all of our drivers are driving the same vehicles week in and week out. But in a spec championship, it's all about the skill of the driver, right? Skill of the driver, and obviously strategy comes into play. But that's what it comes down to, right? When people all have the same set of hardware that they're working with, it's you got to be crafty.
Yeah, I'm just. Hang on. 3. So I'm kind of just doing the math right now. So the general gist of how our championship's going to play out: Val has 156 points, Colin has 145 points, Thomas has 140 points, Michael has 138.5 points. So if Colin wins, Val needs to finish at least ninth to win the championship. If Val finishes ninth, they will tie, and it will go back to a count back on wins, of which I think Colin will win. If
Hmm.
Thomas wins, Colin has to finish. So the actual, in reality, how it actually works is Michael has to win. Thomas has to finish 2 places behind him. Colin has to finish 4 places behind Thomas. And Val has to finish 9 places behind Colin.
A lot of play, it
So
seems.
the gap with basically how it works is Thomas has to either finish, or Michael has to win. Thomas has to finish behind. Thomas has to finish immediately behind Michael to win, and Colin has to finish 4 places behind him, and Val has to finish 13 places or 12 places behind him.
Wow. So I
The, the
mean,
most the most likely situation is Colin wins and Val has to finish 9th or better.
yeah.
Sorry, Val will have to finish 8th or better on
Yeah,
count back.
I mean Val is in a pretty good position then, as it is. But hey, anything can happen in these long races, and hey, between the top four, it's anyone's game really.
There are 18 cars in this race, though, so as long as Val doesn't finish last, he's guaranteed 4th in the championship.
Which is, I mean, quite the feat from him. Val's just been incredibly consistent over this championship, and that's obviously paid off dividends here because he seems to be in a pretty good position for the overall victory.
100%. I mean, even just to jump places to secure 3rd in the championship, Michael just has to beat Thomas by 2 places. He will win on half a points difference. This does not include awards for most consistent. This does not include awards for low incident points, and this does not include awards for fastest lap.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, that when that comes into play, then everything kind of gets jumbled. But no,
Yeah,
it's a
I mean, that'll matter more in situations like Thomas and Michael, where the gap between them is 2.5 points.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
for the 9-point gap between Val and Colin, that's probably set.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about. I mean, the way the point system works in this league is, it really emphasizes clean driving, right? That's where your bonus points do come in for things like clean driving, consistent driving, because 1 point is equal to 1 place on the track, right? So it really incentivizes the drivers to try to race as cleanly and as consistently as possible.
Yeah, and it'll really be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how this race pans out. Like we
Absolutely.
said, the championships, it's going to be relatively close on still certain parts of the championship. The lead is pretty well set, but I mean, if we do see an issue like we did last week with Val and the engine repair, it could definitely spice things up. I mean, Val's currently on pole by almost 2/10 of a second, so
Yep.
who
No.
knows?
I mean, very very strong times from him, and he seems to still be whittling that down even more as we close out the last couple minutes of qualifying. In my talks with the drivers, it's going to be 54 laps to one tank of fuel by most of their calculations, and overall over the race stint, we're looking at anywhere from a two stop to a three stop. Um, Depending on strategy, right? I think that drivers weren't really concerned about the fuel load. The most important thing is going to be tires, making these medium tires last as long as possible without sacrificing too much pace. Some drivers were concerned, the fall off on these tends to be pretty steep when you do get them past a certain point. So you might be better off going for that extra third stop, right? Because you could be losing, 2 to 3 seconds a lap, versus a fresher set of tires. So it's gonna be very interesting as the drivers are obviously battling it out on track. That doesn't help their tire management strategies. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Certainly, just under 3 minutes left in qualifying. Colin, don't know if he's going to improve on anything. An important newcomer you'll see is Brett. He's currently qualified third. Brett Richer, I believe, with an absolute heater, 155.6, only 4/10 off the pole. He's a last-minute entrant for the season. He will not be racing for points, but he's just racing on the hopes of having fun and possibly hopping in next season. So a welcome to Brett, and an explanation as to why he will not be factored into the points to race. He actually has been putting down some pretty good laps. I mean, he just went wide and invalidated his lap, but, you know. Just looking at the timing right now, we have approximately minute 45 remaining. Val currently in first, Colin in second. Brett in third, Doug Newman's in fourth, Bruno Fantasi's in fifth, Michael Gaglione running sixth in the beautiful Volkswagen AVL racing car. Looks kind of cool.
It's an interesting livery.
Thomas out there in seventh. Carlos in eighth. Matt Alexander's in ninth. Walter B's in 10th. Jackson is disconnected from 15th. Might be a problem. In the event that Jackson doesn't make this race, that means Val pretty much has to finish the race in order to win the championship. In order to be in fourth.
Hopefully, you can get it sorted.
Yeah, in order to be guaranteed fourth, Val pretty much has to finish. Especially because Jackson's fifth in the championship. So if anyone was going to contest for some more points to maybe get above fifth, you'd have to be here.
Absolutely.
Michael's only 3.5 points ahead of him. At this rate, just looking at the championship, Nathan might be able to hop him in the points. Doug Newman would be able to hop him in the points. Ujwal would be able to hop him in the points, possibly.
Absolutely.
That would be a big hit. That might drop him down to ninth. That would hurt. From fifth. Yeah, that's not...
Absolutely. Colin, actually, with an even faster time than Val, puts it on pole. 155.17 versus Val's 155.253.
Oh, I did go faster.
So I don't think Val's going to be able to do it, actually, as he's just exiting the pits. Qualifying is going to end, and that should secure pole position for Colin. Last-minute upset and a brilliant effort on his part.
Well, certainly spiced up the beginning of this race.
Absolutely.
Let's see how it goes. Pole sitter will probably get the inside of the corner, I would assume, as is tradition. 15 cars on the grid. So the good news is that Val's at least guaranteed. Oh, nope, we've got our other gridders. Okay. Okay, now he has to race for fourth.
He's got to work now.
Yeah. Alrighty. Collins on the pole. Val Di Pietro in second. Brett Richer is in third. Michael Gaglioni's in fourth. Doug Newman's in fifth. Bruno Fantozzi in sixth. Thomas Langile seventh. Carlos Ferry eighth. Marcos Martins ninth. Matt Alexander is 10th. Walter B is 11th. Phillips in 12th. Laszlo's in 13th. Ren is in 14th. Anthony H is in 15th. Ujwal's in 16th. And Randy's at the back of the grid in 17th. 17 cars here. Hour and 45 minutes. One of the only races where you might need, one of the only races we've done this year where you're probably going to have to stop more than once. I know V8s you had to stop more than once.
Yep.
And,
V8s and yeah, that was pretty much it. The Le Mans race, did we have to stop more than once there as well? I don't believe so.
no, yeah, I think so. They might have just barely had to do 2.
Yeah,
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see.
absolutely. I mean, the open wheel cars, I guess, when it comes down to your tire wear, that's we're really going to see some interesting,
That'll be more important too, yeah.
yeah, some interesting moves and some interesting pit decisions, and drivers really trying to preserve the life of their tires.
What I'm particularly interested in seeing is how well Brett will do in the race, because he's not racing for points, so he effectively acts as a blocker
Absolutely.
for the points. I don't know if they are doing it as if he finishes third, then the person in fourth gets third place points, or if they just get fourth place points.
I believe they're doing it that way, just because I know some competitors, obviously as tight as this championship was, had some concerns about somebody taking
So that means
potential
Val,
points.
Val literally is guaranteed fourth at this point. He's just racing for to ensure he stays in the top 3.
Certainly seems that way.
I believe that also mathematically means that Michael cannot win. He would have to win the race to win the championship.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's in a pretty good position from fourth place, so hey, anything can happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, he is like the king of practice, so if somebody's going to do it, it's going to be him.
Absolutely.
Just over 20 seconds left. "15 seconds left. Lights are on." Getting ready to go racing. Red lights are illuminated. 5 seconds remaining.
Here we go. Last light on. And the flag drops. Colin getting away really well. Val getting a pretty good start
we
as
got a
well.
spin in the back.
Some mayhem in the back.
Anthony loops it.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting first corner. Val seems to get the run, but Colin's going to have the inside, playing it safe. Ooh, those those brake rotors glowing red hot already. Does not take much.
Colin has not Sena'd Val in the first corner.
That is a good sign.
Yeah,
Driver's keeping it relatively tidy. Colin seems to be getting away well. Let's see this battle here for fourth place.
Yeah, Michael up into third. Huge train behind him. Brett tries to move to the inside. Doug Newman. It's going to work. Thomas looking to compromise on that. Ooh, almost make contact.
Yeah, Thomas is staying, but Doug's going to have that inside run through the straight here. And yeah, no, this is it's fairly tight pack.
Coming out of the back straight. Colin has an almost 1 second lead using the chicane here at Paul Ricard. An important distinction. Everybody seeming to make the chicane okay. Nobody forgetting about it. It is quite easy to get lost.
Absolutely. I guess the one complaint about Paul Ricard, well, there's many complaints about Paul Ricard, but one of the biggest complaints is everything looks the same. There's not very many unique landmarks. Oh, dang. Must have got that cut penalty. That chicane must have got him. Carlos Ferry's gonna take advantage as well, and now he's up into 7th.
Already pretty spread out here at the front. We're gonna battle for 10th. Michael Martin and Renson.
Yeah, Ren's close behind. See if he can make something happen.
Ren making a big swing. Nope, not gonna help.
Brett's gonna almost get. Gets the inside line. Gets past Carlos pretty clean. Ooh.
That was a squeeze and a half.
Absolutely. Wheel to wheel.
Doug and Bruno trying it up for 4th. Doug's still a bit far back to try and make that move.
Brett and Carlos are just at each other's necks. It's pretty tight. It is a difficult track to pass on, like we mentioned before. So, we'll see how this pans out. Let's look at Doug and Bruno.
Walter half a lap down. I don't know what happened. Carlos in the pits. He might have got a jump start penalty.
Maybe.
Yeah, serving the drive-through now. Oh, man. Not what you want to have happen.
Absolutely not.
Laszlo's in the pits.
Doug getting
Oh,
really close to Bruno now.
oh, Laszlo is disconnected.
Doug having a little bit of a moment there, getting the car a little bit out of sorts. It's going to cost him a little bit of pace, but we'll see if he can stick to the back of that Formula 3 car, Bruno Fantozzi, if he can actually make a move on the straight here before the chicane. Draft
Laszlo having
seems
to
to be
be
working
careful.
pretty well. Bruno trying to break that draft, but it might not be enough. Doug getting
Ooh,
alongside, and he's going to have that inside line to the chicane here. Who's going to be last
he's
on the
clear.
brakes? And he's
Ooh,
clear. Ooh, and squeezes right down in front, too, and gets it done. Nice pass from Doug Newman there
bit of
up
a
into fourth
naughty move.
place.
He's allowed to do that, but that's not going to make Bruno
Absolutely.
happy.
Oh, for sure. And Bruno's gonna have the run here on the on the second part of the straight. So Doug's trying to break the draft. See if he's gonna try to move to the inside, cover it off. Nope. And ooh, side by side.
Bruno pulling back over in front of him, too, saying, yeah, how do you like it? Newman going to miss the corner by a statute mile. Goes way wide. Probably going to get a slowdown from that. Not going to be happy.
Absolutely not. Now Thomas actually getting really close to Doug and gets right around him too on the
Gets around.
yeah.
Cut
So
penalty is very strict here at Ball Ricard.
absolutely. And a subtle course in particular is very tough in how it doles out penalties. You really need to haul the car way down before the end of your lap for those cutting penalties. So.
100%. I'm doing some quick math on the championship standings. Michael will overtake Thomas for third at this rate.
Yeah, Michael had a good start up in the moving up to third from fourth place, and they seem to be chugging along well. Leaders are pretty spread out. Colin's already got almost 1.5 seconds on
Doug gets
Val, and
past Thomas but loses it.
oof.
Doug slid it a little bit. Sorry to talk over you.
No problem. I mean, it's a pretty good on track battle that we're watching here. So see how this unfolds. I'm sure this is not gonna help their tire strategy,
No, not at all.
but it is good fun to watch. Yeah, Thomas squeezing around the inside, but Doug's gonna have that. See if he's gonna try to tuck in behind and get that draft advantage again here. Oh yeah. Draft seems to be working very well for our drivers, but it's gaining a position is one thing, keeping it is another, as it seems. A lot of drivers you make a pass stick, but you come around the chicane here, back onto another little straight, and the lead vanishes.
That is true. Val currently with a second gap back to ahead to Colin. Colin goes wide, might get a slowdown. Certainly not going to help him. No, it looks like he might be good.
Yeah, but Val seems to be closing that gap almost half a second that he's closed over just this last minute or so. So Delara, Formula 317, fun fact. Um,
Uh-oh.
the engine in the vehicle is not actually, it is a spec engine in terms that it has to be a 2-liter inline 4 that's naturally aspirated in a mid-engine layout with a spec gearbox, 6-speed sequential gearbox. But various manufacturers actually make it, as we see some of the cars that have Volkswagen liveries on the side or Honda liveries on the side. Basically, the manufacturers that are currently producing Formula 3 engines, you have Mercedes-Benz, you have Volkswagen, Tomei in Japan. Gotta love Tomei. They're Japanese tuner legends. They produce a Formula 3 engine. You have, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this,
Oh,
Josh. The
hello.
Tom's Toyota TAZ31. So
Oh, of
Tom's and
course.
Toyota make a Formula 3 2-liter as well.
That is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Ujwal is disconnected. I believe Ujwal may have a penalty.
Oh, it's unfortunate. I mean, obviously after such a strong showing at the first race, I know he's struggled a little bit through the season, but Ujwal's a very strong driver. So sad to see him disconnect and drop off.
Fun fact, as you know, from my understanding, the Formula 3 motor, the Honda Formula 3 motor, I believe, is just a K24. Well, I guess if it's a 2-liter, it'd be a K20.
That is correct.
I
Yeah,
was
it's the
told it was a
Honda. It's labeled
K24.
as the Mugen Honda MF204D.
I was
Oh,
told it was a K24, but D-stroked.
yes. And then Toda,
Be a
another
K20.
Japanese tuning legend, also makes a Formula 3 motor, the Toda TRF 301. So we got quite a few Japanese manufacturers making Formula 3 motors, and then your Germans as well with Mercedes and Volkswagen. So a good little variety of manufacturers there.
Doug and Bruno still going at it.
Yeah, keeping it. Oh man, wheel to wheel.
I mean, you're telling me. Are getting close. Anthony H battling for 11th.
Yeah,
Doug and
Doug
Bruno
is.
still battling for 4th. Doug might have got a much better line through that, though.
We will see. Seems to get a better exit as well. Let's see if he can make something happen on the straight here going into turn 1.
Yeah, Doug's kind of just close enough to actually be able to catch him, but he's not quite there.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, it's very easy to try to kind of late break, but obviously it can have all kinds of implications really if you have contact or what have you. So, following a car close behind, you just gotta be very careful. Doug going in on the inside here, but it's through the S's, so he's gonna have to kind of back out and squeeze back in behind. And they touch. Oh man. Both fall back 6th and 7th respectively over that little bit of contact there. Allows Brett and Thomas to squeeze now ahead into 4th and 5th respectively.
Was that Doug and Bruno?
Doug and Bruno had a little bit of contact there.
Oh. Well, at least they still get to battle.
Absolutely.
Bruno's just going to be there. Ooh, they're getting close.
They're getting really close. They're getting very friendly. I think Doug went a little too deep through that corner. That's going to cost him that position dearly. Oh, Bruno getting off track. I wonder if he's going to get a cutting penalty for that.
Bruno might get a slowdown. That would not surprise me at all. Doug is battling Nathan for the for 6th in the championship. Nathan's not here though, so it's going to be a bit difficult.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's Bruno serving his slowdown.
Yep, no way around it. It's you abuse the
You kind of just have
using
to find the best spot to slow down.
absolutely, and then try to stay out of the way of the other drivers and have it not compromise your line too much. It works a little bit differently in Assetto Corsa versus iRacing. iRacing, it's all about your relative time. So, let's say on a long straight, that where you'd be going, let's say over 200 kilometers per hour, for example, you wouldn't have to slow down as much, let's say, as in a chicane where you're going like, I don't know, 60 kilometers an hour, right? So it's all relative there. Whereas Assetto, I believe it's usually a set speed that you have to slow down to for a certain amount of seconds. So a little bit different in how it works.
It's just off throttle time.
Yeah.
Which is terrible because you can game it. If I'm
Oh,
going
for
into
sure.
the first chicane at Monza, I can just put the clutch in and just coast.
Yep.
It's like, well, and then just delay your exit. And for quote unquote 10 seconds of slowdown time, you lose like what, 5 seconds?
Yeah, it's not really 100%.
Well, then half a second of Colin.
Well, Val seems to be
Oh,
closing
why
in quite a bit.
That might be not good for him. That might be a slowdown.
Trying to take advantage of that draft.
He's way clear of the championship.
Going through Courbe de Seine. I'm not going to try. Val now into first place, but Colin's not going to give up that easily.
Colin, try for a crossover into the next corner.
Oh, Val getting all out of sorts, and Colin's going to take advantage. Oh. Ooh, that rear end on those Formula 3 cars is pretty nasty, I think, through these lower corners. I've seen a few drivers get caught off guard with it, so
yeah,
something you got to watch.
Honestly, the issue with the Formula 3 is that it handles like a 2x4. Like there's just no give to the car.
Yeah. That's an apt description if I've ever heard one.
Well, the unfortunate news with 16 cars in the race is that Michael cannot win the championship. But he is running third, so he might be able to get some good points.
Yeah, some good points, and a podium finish in the championship is nothing to laugh at, that's for sure.
Remember, the third place finisher in the championship gets $500 million. That's not true.
Totally is.
That's not true.
That's what OTA told me.
I
Have I been lied to?
should have the folks at OTA.
Yeah, absolutely.
How
If
do
you'd like
we?
to sponsor us, oh wait.
If you guys like Time Attack,
Yes, please participate. They run really
check
good
out
time
Time
attack
Attack.
events. Very well organized. Val ran. Ooh, Val getting out of
Whoa!
sorts once again, big sideways, but manages to keep it straight. But yeah, no, OTA runs a very well run organization for time attack, and even if you want to do some lapping, OTA offers morning lapping as well. If you are experienced enough of a driver, and they're a great group to run with. But yeah, no, definitely check out OTA and their events. They are now operating once again and running at racetracks all across Ontario. So definitely check out OTA if you want to get on track. Yeah, Val's really not giving up on Colin here. It's getting very aggressive as we've seen over the past couple corners, but we'll see how this pans out.
Watching the battle here between Brett and Thomas, because even though Thomas is battling Brett, at this point, Thomas will still finish third in the championship. Michael has to beat him by 2 places, and if Brett is not being scored, then this is effectively the equivalent of them running back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting points development.
You know, seems like the drivers are settling in with few exceptions. Looks like our close on-track battles are Thomas and Brett, as well as Val and Colin for the lead. So
The important thing will be to watch pit in, too. Just
absolutely.
thinking about that now, because pit in is a very tight pit in here. It's basically the equivalent. It's not quite as bad as Long Beach, but it's basically the equivalent of a chicane. It's even tighter than the backstretch chicane, for reference. So
Yeah, it's very
there's a
touchy.
concrete wall on the inside of both corners.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to be careful with it, especially
Absolutely.
because depending on Val's going to cut the track, gets a bit of oversteer, might cost him a position.
Good old slowdown. We got another battle here. Might be brewing. We got Phil goes loops it,
Oh,
and
Phil
Matt
loops it.
up in 10th place now. Matt Alexander uh,
Phil.
got really close to Philip, and I guess Philip just had a little unfortunate rear end moment, as it were. And then that's the way she goes. Hopefully he can pick up and keep going, and his car isn't too damaged. Seems to be okay, so that's it's good for him. Thomas and
Yeah.
Brett really fighting here. It's our closest on-track battle at the moment.
I say, yeah. They're both taking the line there where they swing it wide. It's a very deceiving corner. You have to kind of just wait.
Mm-hmm. All the corners look the same. It's Paul Ricard. Come on.
That's true. They don't race the same, but they just look the same.
Yeah. I wish I could pronounce the corner names. I'm not going to attempt it.
Oh,
Ooh,
Thomas
Thomas getting a little bit of lockup, going wide.
might be able to see pit in there. Very deceptively tight pit in. Unnecessarily tight, may I add, when you look at the amount of concrete around the place.
Absolutely. It is unnecessary. That's the only way to describe it. So we're going through the S de la Verrière right now
You really
on
don't have to
Thomas.
try if you don't
I'm
want.
trying. And then this
I've just noticed now that
first little chicane section.
Brett has like a 10-second gap between him and Michael.
Absolutely.
I never even noticed that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty significant between the top three and the other drivers behind. Through Virage de Hotel and now Virage du Camp.
Oh,
Virage de
Randy
la
is just coasting. I don't know what
Saint-Bon.
happened. I
Not
guess
sure. I wonder if he
he
got a
got
cut
the slow
penalty.
down.
Yeah.
Probably did.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop trying to pronounce these corners because it's just not going well.
Randy's going to be in front of our leader, Colin, here. See if Colin will be able to get around him. Randy's a pretty nice guy. I'm sure he'll get out of the way. Ooh, Colin's going to go wide.
Bit wide.
That might get him the cut. We're going to undercut.
Nice little over-under classic overtake move there. Val following close behind seems to get the yield from Randy there.
Colin did lose about half a second there.
Absolutely. Val not in a bad position as well. I wonder at this point if he's just going to try to bide his time, conserve his tires, and not try to chase Colin for the lead.
He might be. We did mention that two-stop strategy.
It is an option. I think a lot of drivers are afraid, given the tire fall off, like we were saying, and might just go for a three-stopper, just for the tires alone. But yeah, no, based on the fuel and two is definitely doable.
I said about 17 laps on tires, so we're about halfway through a stint. I'll have to see how this goes. Colin currently leading by just over a second.
Yep, Val keeping him honest, but really kind of settling into a groove. Both doing reasonable lap times. Val in the 156 flat range. Colin actually with a 156.8 the last lap, which explains why Val's been able to kind of claw that gap back. I assume that was with the little tussle trying to get by lap traffic there. If you look at Michael behind, he's on pace, 156.5. So probably going to be maintaining that 5, 6, 7 gap ish. Brett Ricard in fourth place. Now has gapped Thomas by about 3 seconds, so he's looking comfortable in fourth. Running in the high 156s, so on pace with the leaders as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just doing some real quick math here. Going to be roughly around 53 laps in the race. And so, yeah, about a three-stop strategy, assuming they're going 17 laps on tires.
Absolutely.
Colin still leads, going to come across the line to complete his 10th lap. Hit in there, looking deceptively, or rather undeceptively sharp.
Absolutely. It's a gnarly pit entrance. So it's going to be a struggle, right? Especially if these drivers are maintain that really close gap together of trying to maximize your pit entry speed, without just utterly smoking that wall, really. You don't want to be you don't want to dawdle into the pits, but you just got to balance it out.
I 100% agree, especially the Ontario time attack keys to the race are not to have mistakes, especially in the final rounds of the championship.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Another key is to just be consistent, right? Just try to turn in good laps, preserve your tires because that's where that maybe special two-stop strategy comes in versus a three-stopper.
The car is actually incredibly well modeled. I'm looking at it now. They even have like Brembo brakes.
Very impressed.
Wow.
They got the Hankook tires.
Yeah,
B1 with
which
it.
probably sucks.
Yeah, not as good as
The
Toyo's.
lug
Toyo is
nuts are
the
different colored based on different sides.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Not as good as
Why?
Toyo's, who are the official supporter of OTA for their tires.
Oh, you
Toyo's been
mean
a supporter of OTA for many years, so shout
also
out
the
Toyo.
official sponsor of the Ontario Formula 1600 Championship.
Heck yeah, we love Toyo tires.
It's true.
They're good tires, and yeah, shout out Toyo for supporting Canadian and Ontarian
Toyo
grassroots
tires.
motorsports.
If you want to sponsor the series in the last race,
Yes, please call us.
we'll probably do another one. No
Absolutely,
guarantees. We'll probably do another one. Soon, registered trademark.
absolutely. Let's get the Toyo tires keys to the race.
Yeah, don't crash. Save your tires, actually, funny
Yes,
enough.
yeah, save your tires.
Unironically, save your tires.
That treadwear warranty's got to be good for something.
I mean, yeah.
Got to get that mail-in rebate.
Or something along those lines. Val now under a second, now back over a second, now under a second,
Just
now
all over the
back over a
place.
second.
Delara's just, Paul
I would
Ricard
estimate
just
around a second.
around a second. We can, spitball around there. Yeah, that draft seems to be really only effective once you get within, I don't know, 0.8, 0.7 of a second. You know, being about a
Yeah.
second out, it really didn't do much there on the back
He
straight there for
probably got
Val.
to be about, I would estimate around 3/4 of a second. That would be
Yeah,
my guess.
yeah, absolutely. So let's see now. Yeah, now that he's within almost 8/10, it's slow, but he is gaining. So yeah, about 3/4 I think would be right where you start really noticing a decent advantage from the draft. So Val's going to have his work cut out for him to try to get closer, either on the front straight or on the next run through the back straights as well. Seems to be doing a decent job, and yeah, getting in within 6/10 here through the technical section.
Carlos and Anthony battling now under half a second. Might get the draft here.
Let's take a look with them. We'll monitor Val and Collins relative if anything develops there. But
They're in the teammate cars.
and they were teammates.
Apparently.
Carlos dipping it in a little bit
Whoa.
wide on the entry, but
Kind of,
seems to get a decent exit through the chicane.
kind of pretty trash exit.
Yeah, not that good. I think he just ran too deep and too wide, and yeah, no, Anthony seeming to get the better, and now almost 1.2 seconds now between them. Ooh, Carlos getting all out of sorts there. And yeah, it looks like the rear end on this thing isn't particularly stable. I imagine it's the, like you said, that really stiff chassis and stiff suspension combined with the low weight and really minimal downforce, even though they are open wheel car with some aero. Given their low weight and stiffness, it's probably low downforce, and then you're more reliant on mechanical grip. With Fuji slicks is pretty much all or nothing, right? You're pretty much, riding up to a wall and nothing. Yeah, Phillips in the pits.
Phillips in the pits, goes around the Audi safety car. Don't want to crash into that. Makes a stop down pit road.
Absolutely, looks like he's going for his tires and come back out probably in 14th or 13th. Let's see if he can. Yeah, Walter's still a long way away, so Phillips gonna come back where he pitted in, 13th place.
So that was approximately what? That was probably, that was about a 30-second stop, I believe.
Absolutely, from start to finish.
Doug
Doug
and
and
Thomas are side by side.
side by side. Doug getting the better of Thomas there, and up to 5th place now. After that little bit of contact at with Bruno Fantozzi, he's seemed to be kind of working his way back up the field, which is good. Doug putting in some pretty strong laps.
At this rate, Michael will finish 3rd in the championship.
Good for Michael. Looks like Val and Colin are still pretty close together. Another one battle here. Marcos and Bruno side by side. Looks to be very similar on pace. Marcos running a little bit wide there. I wonder if he's just going to try to do the over-under here for the last corner onto the front straight. Seems to get a pretty good exit. Oh, yeah, he's making up that pace to Bruno pretty quickly.
Bruno getting about the worst exit I've ever seen out of a corner in my life.
Absolutely, and it looks like
he's going to lose a ton of time.
Yeah, Marcos is going to be able to close that gap quite a bit.
Michael kind of backing off a little bit. He probably sees Bruno's driving. Doesn't want to get too close till he can ensure that he can get a pass.
Absolutely. Really got to bide your time and try to avoid any contact
coming in the
or
pits,
damage.
crashes into the wall.
Oh, that pit entry we were talking about, it's gnarly. Is he stuck?
Is he stuck? Put in reverse, Terry. There we go.
I really appreciated that reference. I just want to let you know that personally.
I was going to use this as a reference to my pit stops, but I guess not. Already at 30 seconds or 30 seconds into the stop. He hasn't even stopped yet. Okay.
No, what did the drive-through thing?
Maybe he did get a stop.
Not sure what happened there. I was
He might have been stopped in the box, just crash at a weird angle. Whatever.
Yeah.
point is down and away. 35-second stop to be specific. I mean, not the best entry I've seen, but it's, you know,
Does the job.
like I've seen worse. There's that.
That's fair. Looks like lap traffic is giving Val a little bit of a hard time here, but they're just trying to stick on fairly close pace wise.
Yeah, definitely gonna be interesting to see how this develops.
Got eyes on who that is? I believe that's
Is the traffic?
believe
That
it's
is
Laszlo.
that's Laszlo.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruno side by side with Marco up the front straight. This Randy has pitted.
And Bruno, ooh, not gonna quite. Oh, he does. He does maintain the gap and comes out ahead through that first little corner there, getting a little bit squirrely, but manages to keep it on the straight and narrow.
Bruno and Marco really going wheel to wheel. They've been battling pretty hard this entire race. It's always pretty good when you
Absolutely.
have a driver that's around your skill level. Randy has left the pit box.
And Randy just rejoining the track now. Got
There's a
Carlos Ferry as well in the pits, going for
32
tires.
seconds. Yeah, this might be around time for tires.
Carlos just
Carlos
making his
down
way through the pits.
Carlos almost crashing into the Audi safety car.
Audi, if you'd like to sponsor us.
Yeah, Audi, if you wanna, feel free. Big fan of Fath. You guys
They
sell
rock.
those.
Heck yeah. They do. They sell everything.
Porsche,
Uh,
if you want to sponsor us,
Yeah, please. I'd love a Porsche.
give us a ring.
Philip up in 11th with the pit stop from Carlos Ferry. So all in all, some decent movement for him after having a little bit of an issue at the start of the race with the car getting all out of sorts.
Yeah, spinning was pretty not good.
No, you want to avoid that if you can. As it
I can't
turns
remember
out,
if it
going
was
really wide. Of that little complex there. Not sure if that's going to be a cut penalty or not.
Marco and Bruno still battling.
Still very close together within about half a second or so.
We'll have to see. At the line, we'll see how fast the laps are. Bruno did a
9
1:59.6.
and a 2-minute 4:42 for Marco. So
Well, that is slower. Hate to do it to him, but that is slower. Marco, using all the facilities here at Paul Ricard, going to lose a little bit of time, and by a little bit of time, I mean half a second. A ton of time. Val within a second of the leader.
yeah, let's check in with that battle, see how they're going along, because they seem to be neck and neck and in very similar pace wise. Val 156.8 and then a Colin with a 156.947 their last lap. So pretty much even Stevens there. Ooh, Val getting
Val with a big slide.
big sideways.
Val claiming he can save the tires and maybe only do a one stop for tires. Definitely believe him now after he's sliding it. That tends to save tires.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's going to cost him a little bit there. Now 1.1 seconds.
Gap's still a second.
You know,
Marco's lost a lot more time. I don't know what happened.
yeah, he's now 2 seconds behind Bruno.
The real key is going to be if Colin or Val pit this lap. This lap will determine whether or not they're 3 stopping or 2 stopping.
Absolutely.
Give or take a lap or so.
Got to see who blinks first.
They pit next lap. Don't shoot me. Like. Anthony and Carlos. Anthony's within half a second. Actually, it's about half a second. We're going to see how much this draft's going to help.
Seems to be knocking down a little bit. going through our fast right-hander here after the straight. And yeah, Anthony moving along well. Big
Oh,
improvement
Anthony
for
with a
him
much
running in.
better line, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, up into 13th place, so really good for Anthony. He seems to be really having a good handle on this Formula 3 car. Getting a decent exit out of there.
Wheel slip there. He cranked the
Yeah,
wheel there, trying to get it turned in, but there's just no
yeah.
grip there.
Yeah, that rear end seems to be very touchy in the car. I can see the tires starting to do some funky things there. A lot of four-wheel drift. Ooh,
Whoa.
hitting the
There
speed
you go.
bumps on the exit of the last corner there, and that's going to cost him his straight line speed pretty significantly.
Your personal best. So he's getting faster. Colin
Absolutely.
has pit, as I predicted.
Yep, and Val is staying out. So it looks like Colin blinks first, and Val's going to have to put on a hell of a lap now to try to extend that gap.
Probably going to come out racing Brett.
Absolutely. Val with a quick time, 157 flat. Michael
Brett
also up into
also
second
pitting.
place now, yeah. Brett in the pits.
Oh,
Doug
man,
gets
a
by
pit
into
run.
fourth. Thomas also staying out, so we got some drivers trying to extend their stints, see what happens, and yeah, it looks like Colin rejoins the track in third place. Uh,
Away.
quite a ways from Michael, around 13 seconds or so. And
Brett's
Val
going to
is
be
just,
racing Bruno.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
There he goes, out of the pit lane.
See who's going to
Bruno's going
get
to get it
out
done
there
for fun, though.
first.
Yep.
Looks like Bruno's going to get it done.
And Brett get packed past them, though, with the better tires. They're going to be cold, but they're going to be fresher.
Brett going a little wide there. Sure, that's just your old tire warm-up strategy, as it were.
See if he locked it up there. That's also a pretty good tire warming strategy, although it tends to kill the tires.
Hey, as long as you don't flat
It's
spot.
rather, I'd say it's common, but it's not good.
No, no, definitely not. So, Formula
Good
3
run.
actually was adopted by the FIA in
Oh, we're
1950.
doing facts now.
We're doing facts.
I was confused.
No segue, just facts.
I
Only
was like,
facts.
yeah?
It was a 500cc motorcycle engine that powered the original Formula 3 cars in 1950.
Big
Brett
motorcycle
with a
engine.
big move and gets the job done. Now back up into sixth place past Bruno Fantozzi. Anyways, to continue, they use Norton or Jap motorcycle engines, and yeah, it actually started Formula 3. The precursor to it was in 1946 in Bristol, in England. Uh, just low cost racing where dudes would just kind of throw their home built cars with the motorcycle engines that they had lying
Valor.
around and go racing.
I think Michael and Valor are racing off the pit road.
Yeah, it looks like
Well,
Val in
Val's
the
pit's...
pits.
Oh, yeah. Oh, damn. We just missed a battle off pit road.
Nope, we're good. I got eyes on it, and Michael
Val and
just
Michael
behind
are
Val.
racing. Doug Newman to lose a couple places, so it looks like they are going to be two stopping.
Oh man, Colin, Val and Michael are right on each
Literally,
other.
I saw it. Val literally left pit road immediately in front of Michael. Like, there was not even a car length.
Yeah, they were just kissing bumpers.
Marcos in the pits.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Looks like that strategy call from Colin paid off because now he's got
Marco missed his
quite the
pit
gap.
box.
Oh, he's gonna have to bring it back and give it a
It's
stop. Who else we got in the pits now? Matt Alexander going for his pit box and going to pit in. Yeah, it looks like Colin has got quite a significant gap now on Val and Michael, respectively.
I mean, he got that. He pitted early.
Wonder if Val had a pit issue because it seems like his stop would have been much longer than Michael, considering the gap that Michael had to Val.
Yeah, he might have missed it. He might have. I don't know. Maybe he just lost time on the pit in. Who knows? Only time will tell.
Yeah, I would say I mean, looking at the gap now, he's got about 11, 12 seconds to Colin, so it looks like he lost, pretty good chunk of time to Colin based off the pit strategy, considering that he was only about a second or so back.
Well, we're going to find out. Michael and Val still under a second, and we might get some pretty good battling. Races with pit stops are really just so much more fun because of the strategy aspect.
Absolutely, right? Your passes on track and versus your, kind of passes in the pits, passes while you're pitting, all that fun stuff, right? Just trying to work out that strategy beyond your kind of on track exercising, as it were. So very, very interesting to watch.
Laszlo and Randy battling for 15th. Laszlo under a second. So there's something.
Absolutely. Surprised actually at the variety of battles that we seem to have on track. Considering that we're almost 40 minutes into this race, that some of the drivers are still packed fairly close together.
At the point where the race is just happening now.
So it's funny, Dallara started. Hey, another Dallara fun fact, let's say, or Formula 3 fun fact. Um, basically, in the 80s and 90s, Formula 3 was they were primarily ran like Ralt chassis or Rainer chassis, and you'd even see Lola and March as well. But by the start of the 1990s, Dallara, I guess, initially tried for a Formula One project, but after that project was unsuccessful to produce a chassis for Formula One, they've kind of refocused their efforts into Formula 3. And by the mid 90s, most teams considered the Dallara F393, so the 1993 Formula 3 chassis, to be a prerequisite to being competitive. So they just became ubiquitous, and by the 2000s, they were basically the only game in town when it came to producing Formula 3 chassis, just because they were kind of heads and shoulders above the rest.
Thomas is pitted of 6th.
It looks like Bruno heading into the pits as well in 7th place.
Bruno has stopped that pit in.
Wonder if he stalled it or have some issues there. It seems to be a weird place to
Oh,
stop. Oh yeah, it gets going again. I wonder if something happened there.
maybe he was serving a slowdown.
Maybe.
Oh, he missed the box too, so that doesn't help.
Michael within a half second of Val here.
Yeah, there he
And
is.
closing.
Oh, here he comes. Oh, looks to the inside. There he goes. Nope. Yep. Nope.
Ooh.
Yep.
Perhaps.
Maybe. Even I don't know.
It's so tight, and Val's
Crossover,
gonna have that inside here, but we'll see how this plays out. Michael's seeming to get a pretty good exit. Ooh,
This battle's interesting. In the meantime, we got a battle for 8th, but we're certainly looking at the battle for 2nd.
Ooh, Michael with a touch of lock up to the last corner goes wide. That's going to cost him his exit onto the flat back straight here. And Val's kind of opened that gap up now again to about 7/10. So Michael's going to have to do all that work all over again to try to close that gap once again and try to make a move and make it stick.
Val down in 2nd. At this rate, Val still will win the championship. Michael will also take 3rd from Thomas. The key is all going to be this last stop.
Absolutely. It's just trying to time it out correctly and making those tires last.
If Colin dogs this last stop, It could that could be his. That could end his hopes of winning.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get your stop like basically 100% perfect.
Thomas
Um,
has to finish 4 spaces ahead of Colin to take second, or to surpass him in the championship, regardless of where he finishes, without bonuses.
Absolutely. Did you know that FIA, the Formula 3 championship, wasn't actually there wasn't actually a world championship until 2019. So up until that
Yeah, there was
point,
just
yeah,
regional,
all the
right?
Formula 3 championships were just regional championships. So you'd have, there's the Formula 3 Asian Championship, which ran in Asia, and then there's also different series that are, running in tandem. So you have like your Formula Japanese Championship, which is an F3
Yep.
championship, but in Japan
I believe,
only.
I believe,
Um,
I believe it's now known as Super Formula Lights.
Yep. And then another popular Formula 3 championship that quite a few F1 drivers actually have competed in was the Toyota Racing Series in New
Yep.
Zealand,
Yep.
which uses a Formula 3 chassis as well with Toyota engines. And like we were saying before, there's a North American version of the championship as well, which was the Formula Regional Americas Championship, which uses the K20 C1 motor now,
Ooh.
which is the 2-liter turbocharged motor found in the Civic Type R. Detuned
Carlos,
actually a little bit to 270 horsepower.
Carlos gets past Matt Alexander
Matt
for 10th.
staying close behind.
Gonna move
Ooh,
over to cover. Ooh.
elbows out and
I
might
mean,
get it done.
why'd he lift?
Oh man, yeah, he had the inside there. I would have just kind of committed,
Why'd he
but
lift?
not sure why he lifted.
You cannot tell me that corner isn't flat.
No, it's got to be flat out. Runs a little wide there too.
He was just being safe. I don't know.
Yeah, playing it
I
safe's
don't
not
really
a
know.
bad thing, but you gotta, it's gotta battle, man. It's for the glory. You gotta give it 100%. Another close
Open
battle
red
here,
flag.
Ryan and Philip keeping close company. Phil, a great drive from him back up in the ninth. So pretty good moves from him so far.
Philip and Red battling right now, going through turn 1. Battle for 8th. We'll see if they close up. Philip getting unsettled on the curbs a little bit.
Yeah,
Carlos
getting a
looking to
little
compensate that.
sideways, a little off track there. You know what we should have done them Formula 3s, and I'm not sure if Settle Course
Oh,
has the
Philip
track for
misses
it.
the
Ooh,
corner
Philip
hard.
completely. I think that's got to be a slow down penalty. There's no way.
That was probably like a mechanical thing. He just like didn't stop.
Wonder what happened there. Yeah, now Phillips slipping back into 10th.
Probably missed the brakes.
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
That's my
Some
guess.
slip or technical issue. Who
I
knows?
say probably a slip.
Man, we should have ran these around Macau.
Yeah, that's an option we could have done. You're correct.
Yeah, I mean the Grand Prix Macau is known as
I
the
feel like
Formula 3 World Cup, and
that could have sucked, but it would have been really cool.
oh, for sure, it would have been very tough
Give
on
an
the
Admiral.
drivers. It's known as one of the most difficult street circuits in the world.
It's true.
Very, very tough, and if you manage to win at the Macau Grand Prix and the Macau Formula 3 World Championship event, you're considered a shoe-in, honestly, for Formula One World Championship if you can manage to get the Formula One. It's an immense display of talent. So a lot of Formula One World Championships have won that race in Macau.
The only issue with Macau is that there's like 2 places to pass, and if somebody wrecks, you're in it too.
Yes, I can't remember what
It's
series
a
it
lot like
was. Whether it
Monaco.
was I think it was
Monaco, rather.
Monaco. Yeah, I think it was it the World Touring Car? It was W, or maybe it was the Pirelli World Endurance.
Are
I
you
can't
talking
remember.
about the big pileup?
Yes.
That was a GT World Challenge.
GT World Challenge, that's it. Yeah, I was
Or
trying to remember what GT series it was.
Intercontinental GT Challenge, rather.
Yes, that was.
Yeah.
If you ever want to laugh
That
and
was
cry,
one of 4 international GT Challenge races that year was that one.
yeah, and it was. Oh man, not pretty. I'm pretty sure. What was it?
GT
15 to 20 cars that just kind of piled
It was
up in
like
turn
20
one.
cars.
Yeah,
GT3s at at Macau are generally pretty fun because A, it's a crapshoot.
Yes.
B, sometimes you just get funny situations because of the nature of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of, and like you said, I mean, the GT3 cars are
Like
obviously much larger than your kind of Formula 3 vehicles, so
like
passing
like
it,
missing wing mirrors
oh
and
man,
stuff.
yeah, just getting around the
Three
track is a struggle enough, let alone in
Lawrence
traffic with
Van
other cars.
Lawrence Vantor became the only driver in GT history. Oh, Carlos misses the backstretch chicane by about a statute mile. Gonna rejoin perpendicular to the track, right in front of Phillip.
Philip, who's
Okay.
gonna have to run. Oh
All
man,
right.
oof,
Whoa.
oof. That was
What
uh,
a
that was not
I hate
pretty.
to be I hate to be that guy, but what a bad rejoin.
That was
That
oh
was that was
man,
that was a bad
a
move.
textbook what not to do when rejoining the track. Just completely
Yeah, I
left
mean,
Philip with
luckily
nowhere to go.
I said, whoa, and he's going a bit wide on Phillip. Oh man.
Yeah, I think Philip's starting to get a little
Carlos.
frustrated now with that. I mean, I would
Carlos.
be too if someone rejoins in a manner like that. Carlos running wide now, trying to go deep to the
Not
corner.
making a lot of
Oh,
Oh
big contact! Oh man,
no! Oh, Phillip not gonna be happy with himself over that one.
no, that was he just kind of ran way too deep in that corner. Carlos manages to kind of
Yeah.
get out okay from that. I figured it would have cost him even worse.
And I mean that's one of those deals. Oh, Carlos loops it. Or
Oh
almost loops it.
man,
He hit the wall. No, what are you doing? Oh man. Oh, stop hitting the wall.
oh man, he got stuck in there.
Oh man, he's probably really glad this is being live streamed.
Quite.
I'm proud of that one. Well, keeps it going.
Yeah, rejoined safely this time, and
Phillip.
let's look at Philip now, who's closing the gap to Bruno.
That was a bad move from Carlos again. He moved offline to let Colin by, the race leader, but it was a bit of a late move and a bit of an aggressive move, but I appreciate the gesture.
Let's take a look at Michael in third place here, just real quick.
Battle and Val.
Seems to have maintained that gap to Val up ahead. Val running pretty strong times, into the 155s.
Yeah, they're honestly lapping pretty good. Phillips also still trying to gain on Bruno, get that place back. He's going to be driving angry now. He's not going to be happy with that mistake he made, so.
No, for sure. You just it's very important. I mean, driving such a mental game, you really have to, you know, there's 55 minutes left in the race. You really got to just kind of calm down, take a breather. Maybe on a straight, you kind of breathe in slow and breathe out, and just try to focus on what's in front of you and not what just happened, and just kind of you know keep it moving and try to gain positions. Ooh,
We're probably about
looks
halfway
like Val
to.
got really out of sorts for the chicane. Michael's now on his ass. Seems to get the job done. Yeah, Val's gonna have to give up that position, and now Val falling into third place, with Michael now scooting up into second. So Michael really being able to capitalize on Val's error there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Val can come back from this. I don't. He avoided a slowdown, so that's good. But Val getting way sideways in
Really,
that
really
corner. That corner
squirrely.
seems to be his Achilles heel. He's like the only one I've seen get sideways in that corner.
Absolutely.
He probably has the car trimmed out a little bit for the extra speed, but it's not going to help him in that corner.
Absolutely. So France fact.
We're doing France facts now. Okay.
France is home to many famous French people.
Yeah. I don't know, where are you
That's
going
all.
with this?
That's all. That's it. That's all I want
Okay,
to say.
cool. Epic French fact. Okay, thanks. I really appreciate you telling me about that. We're at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, and France is actually named after French's, the mustard company.
That's not okay. All right. Sick battle here for a sec.
French's, if you want to sponsor the show, love your mustard.
French's, if you want to sponsor the show, because you also make ketchup.
Yes, French's ketchup, not bad, not bad, pretty decent. Like, I don't know if I prefer it over Hines, but pretty decent. Oh, Val and Michael getting real friendly with each
Oh,
other into
Val
the
goes
chicane.
way wide.
Michael's way wide, and Val seeming to get the right line through there and gets a nice speedy exit. And
Val got that pretty hard though.
yeah, yeah.
Just gotta watch out. Matt Alexander and Ren are getting pretty close, battling here for 8th. Don't know if anything's gonna happen because of it, but that seems to be closing up a lot. A much better line than Ren.
You have to take a look at that.
About 6 laps rather left until the predicted pit stop. Sorry, 7 laps.
Yep, see if drivers go in for that second stop and that third set of tires.
Definitely will be interesting to see. That first stop would have been probably, what, 25 minutes into the race? Maybe 30 minutes into the race?
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe 35? I'm trying to think of when they last stopped. I would actually have to check myself.
Did you know that France has 12 different time zones?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, French colonies, not France.
No, like, what?
Yeah, okay. All right.
What? Why is there so many time zones?
There are not 12 time zones in France.
Oh
I'm
my
not even.
God. Oh my goodness. No, they do. What? Oh, if you include their territories.
Yeah, the territory. There's 12
Eh.
time zones in Europe, let alone France.
Right?
Renson and Bruno, oh, they get together. Ren saves it. Matt
Oh,
Alexander tracks
Jesus.
out into him. No.
Matt Alexander, big wreck from him.
Oh.
Oh man. Oof. Philip
Bruno.
now back up in 10th place from that
Bruno.
blunder.
Bruno tracked out
Ooh,
into
Philip
Ren.
going way
Ren went
wide there. I'm
off.
sure he's going to have to slow down for that as well. Let's take a look at Michael, who seems to be closed that gap again to Val. That battle for second place that we've been keeping an eye on.
Just to recap what happened, Bruno tracked out into Ren. Ren went wide, and he was trying to rejoin, and Matt Alexander just tracked out into him. Ren survived both encounters. Matt didn't survive the second one.
Very unfortunate.
Philip is in the pits.
Wonder if I know Philip was the first to pit on that first stint, so I'm sure he's just going for this next set of tires, and we should see the other drivers pitting in fairly soon.
This is pitting about 30 minutes after when he last pitted. So if they can go 30 minutes on tires, that means we'll probably see a 2-stop. We did see some drivers stopping 25 minutes on a set, which might still get them to the end.
Absolutely.
Oh, they might have to stop a second time, though. Or, sorry, a third time, rather. Still back out in 12th.
Michael's just keeping Val honest here. He's just not giving up.
Yeah, I mean,
Another close battle, actually. Doug has closed the gap to Brett Ricard here. He's within a second as well.
I entirely forgot about Brett. Sorry. Remember, as it stands, Michael will take third in the championship.
Yeah, very, very strong performance from him this far today. Obviously, the king of practice, as it were, and really putting the work in to, make sure he's very comfortable and ready for these races week over week. And it really shows. I mean, he's been very, very consistent over the course of the championship. And, third overall really shows that. So good for Michael. And, really, really fun to see him race and battle against the usual suspects. So glad to have him on board.
I mean, 100%.
Yeah, Val seemed to get a better exit out of the last corner there. So Michael's going to fall behind. why don't we take a moment, have our sponsors show our little ad spots, and then we'll come back and continue the action.
Pretty good idea.
Alrighty, we will see you momentarily.
Big thanks to Philip at DriverMod.ca, who has been so instrumental in putting these OTA esports series on. You can check out his website, DriverMod.ca, where he has all of his musings and writings all about going fast for time attack and otherwise. So make sure you check it out, DriverMod.ca.
If you want to support the folks that put on the series, make sure you go to OntarioTimeAttack.ca, click on the shop icon, and you'll see there is a brand new OTA e-racing t-shirt. It's an awesome blue shirt. We got our little steering wheel on there, cars zooming by, and all the folks that support our series. So make sure you check it out, OntarioTimeAttack.ca, and make sure to click on shop. Thanks. And we are back.
We're back with a
Michael,
huge development.
yes.
Randy is serving a slowdown on the front straight.
Bum, 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 bum. Whoa, he's actually going to stop.
Randy is stopped on the front straight in order to serve his slowdown. Carlos is in the pits.
Let's hope
he has made his pit box. Sure hope Randy's okay.
Randy gets going.
Somebody just lost it in the last corner. I think Philip got loose in the last corner. Almost looped it, keeps it going. Which is good because all three of those cars were on the same line that Randy was.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit messy, for sure. Philip seems to be really struggling for grip. I mean, he was the first one to pit for that second stop, but it's only been a couple laps. Those tires should be pretty fresh and ready. I mean, more so than the other drivers who are just coming out now on cold ones. So, not sure what's going on there.
Oh, Anthony and Carlos. Anthony's going to try and move to the inside of Carlos for 12th. Going to get it done. Carlos. Oh, way wide.
Ooh.
Oh, Laszlo trying to move, getting his lap back the hard way.
Little bump.
Laszlo's
forced to go wide there.
I got to give kudos to Anthony. He's like, yeah, I'm not racing you, so a little bit aggressive, but I mean, what are you gonna do about it? Whoa! Laszlo's still trying to get that lap back.
Doug and Brett very close. Looks like Brett gets all out of sorts at the exit of the chicane, and Doug now moving up into 4th place.
I mean, the draft's definitely going to help Brett. You can see it's already starting to give him a little bit of a push towards the front. Brett to the inside.
With this car, it's all about those aggressive cuts right out of the draft. Try to get to the inside line. It's like you really gotta show him who's boss. You know, really make a statement when you come out of the draft.
My prediction is correct. The drivers will make one more stop.
Yeah, seems to be right on with the call that we've heard from them. You know, just 3-stop strategy. I wonder if anyone's going to attempt a 2-stop. Somebody going way wide there at the. Not sure who that is.
Like Brett are going at it. I suspect if Brett pits, Doug will also pit.
Absolutely. It's the classic who will blink first.
Race. But I mean, that being said, to win the race, you have to do what the leader doesn't. So.
Absolutely. Gotta love that Force India livery, by the way. Shout out Force India, RIP Force India. You know.
I don't know. Their paints were always like, eh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like it. Depends on my mood.
I mean
sometimes I hate
racing the pink the BWT livery though hard.
Oh, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Pretty hard. Not gonna lie.
Doug and Brett are still battling.
They're still going at it. Although I have to say the new Aston Martin livery is like Mwah, chef's kiss.
That's true.
And it's not just because I own a green vehicle. I'm
Anthony's in
not
the
biased. It's just, it's just mwah, lovely.
Anthony coming down pit road. Did
Anthony
he
having
actually stop, or did he just do a drive-through?
I'm not sure. He just kind of
Okay.
keeps on trucking along.
I'm going to assume he stopped.
Walter now head up into 13th place. See what's going on. Looks like our closest battle is still Doug and Brett Ricard, who are very, very closely matched on pace. So see how this pans out. About 42 minutes left in the race. Not too much movement over these last half an hour or so. This second stint, it's been fairly steady, at least in the top 6. Oh, Doug getting a
Oh,
little snappy there at the rear end.
it keeps on going. There's a track behind him. I think that's Philip. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of the final corner. Down the front straight.
See what else is going on. Matt Alexander about 1.2 seconds off Ren. So this could be a developing battle as well.
And they're kind of just lapping. Matt Alexander and Ren, gap of 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of chugging along.
Yeah, they have settled in. Colin might pit this time, though. That would be on schedule. Either this time or next lap.
Yeah, so let's see. Colin does stay
Oh,
out. Oh, yeah,
probably
just
next lap.
yeah, moving along. Yeah, Colin just putting up a really solid performance, just consistently good laps, lap over lap, and has opened up quite the gap to Val behind. Val running, yeah, currently about 13 seconds behind Colin, so really been able to open up that gap. So as long as Colin kind of keeps it tidy and nails his pit stops, then should be on for a win.
Pretty much, Colin now with 33.3 laps completed. Probably going to come down pit road this time.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on
Walter, I
Colin.
think, has looped it out of one of the chicanes. Gives Anthony the position.
Ooh, Colin getting a little bit sideways to the chicane as well. Yeah, looks like this car is really, really not that friendly to these drivers, especially as the tires wear down in the rear.
I mean, it definitely is a little bit subdued, but it's not tame. And Alexander and Ren battling almost within a second.
Yeah, no, everyone's pretty much settling in. That's pretty much, yeah. I mean, our closest battles are about 1.5 to 2 seconds. So,
Just over an hour in. Yep, we're at the point in the race where it's just happening. As I like to say.
mm-hmm. Cars are going around track. Noises are being made. Fossil fuels being
Colin
burned.
possibly coming in this time.
Let's take a look at
Oh,
Colin.
he
Seems
might
to
go,
stay out.
might go a little bit longer.
Absolutely. Lap times have fallen off a little bit. 1:57.7 is the last lap.
Oh, Anthony has looped it. Go let Walter by.
Matt Alexander now within 1 second-ish of Ren up ahead. See if he can close that gap even further down and try to battle for that 9th place spot.
Doug Newman almost within a second. Looking to possibly develop.
You know, Doug and Brett actually been very well matched in terms of their pace. So I'm sure they're enjoying the little on-track battles that they've had over the last hour or so. So it's pretty fun to watch them battle it out.
100%. Matt Alexander within a second. Doug Newman within a second. Michael gaining a little bit. Hey, perhaps Colin will come in this time.
Let's take a look. Colin just going around the second half of the track here through this last little technical section. So we'll see if he decides to pit in this lap. Doug within 7/10 of Brett now. We'll ride along with Colin and see if now's the time that he decides to duck into the pits and grab that second set of tires.
Doug Newman getting out of shape in the first chicane. Does Colin come in this time? Nope.
Staying out once again.
Is Val going to come in this time?
Val having a touch of lock up there and a little bit of squirreling on the exit. Val staying out as well.
Bruno comes down into the pits. Gets it stopped.
Yeah, looks like these drivers in the front are pretty comfortable with the pace. Maybe they're just trying to extend their stint and go in for a late stop.
Yeah, they're probably just taking a mark off of Colin. Ren and Matt are going to get past Bruno.
Absolutely. Bruno now down into 10th place. Ren getting that 8th place spot, and Matt Alexander inheriting 9th.
100%. It'll certainly be interesting to see when Colin does stop, because they're probably all going to take a mark off of him.
Absolutely.
That would be my guess.
So, Paul Ricard, fun fact.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, the circuit de Paul Ricard is actually named after Paul Ricard, of course, who was a French industrialist and creator of pastis, which is a type of anise or fennel-flavored liquor, if you will, and basically popularized that type of liquor and used the money that he made from his liquor business to build all sorts of things from, I think, yeah, no, he actually created the circuit and named it after himself, so it wasn't even a sponsorship deal. He just built the damn thing. And he's like, "This is my circuit. I'm naming it after me."
That's
Which
kind of
is
based. I'm not gonna lie,
pretty
that's a pretty
pretty
rad move.
based. That is based
Like my man just
AF. That's
he just built it.
yeah.
Marco's in the pit.
That's a big boss move right there. He's just
Marco
like,
has stopped. Somebody else is in the pits.
yeah.
Colin is in the pits. Colin has
Oh,
finally
Colin
stopped.
has finally jumped in. Val is gonna stay out and inherit the lead.
I believe that would be an 18-lap stop. Or an 18-lap stint, rather. Colin down and away. Coming out just ahead of Marco. Past my car. Backwards in the pit lane.
As is tradition.
Yep.
Yeah, so the reason why Paul Ricard built the circuit is because he wanted to experience the challenge of building a racetrack.
Yeah, but he just...
But
okay.
nothing else.
All right.
It's like, okay,
Thanks.
thanks, man.
Okay.
Now we get this weird piece of pavement with a bunch of blue lines on it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I wanted to build a racetrack. Well, that's not the difficult part. The difficult part's designing the racetrack.
Ask
Actually,
Herman
other way
Tilke.
around, not gonna lie. Oh, Brett is in the pits. Brett down and away.
Really quick stop from Brett. Good job on the pit crew there to get him out in and out so quickly. Doug now up in 4th. Colin down to 3rd. Michael now 6 seconds behind Val. I wonder what happened if he had a little bit of an issue. Really brought him back in time there.
Yeah, I don't even really know.
Yeah, so the black and blue runoff areas are colloquially known as the Blue Zone. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Apparently, it's because the runoff surface contains a mixture of asphalt and tungsten. Very, very weird.
That's the blue.
So that's the blue zone, and then the red zone that you see kind of further down the track uh, is a more abrasive surface.
I remember
Um,
seeing that.
yeah, and then they have the Tech Pro barriers at the end. I mean, gravel traps were fine, right? Val in the pits. Michael also in the pits. His pits
Oh, they're both in the
boxes ahead of
pits.
the Val. So let's see who jumps first.
Al down and
Val getting a
away.
pretty good exit, and
Michael
Michael
down.
still stuck in the
Michael not
pits. Let's
down and
see.
away.
Here we go. So now that gap that they had, I mean, they were bumper to bumper on the first stop, and now not so much. So yeah, Michael's gonna be.
Xander,
Looks like he's gonna exit around 5 seconds behind, 6 seconds behind of
Xander
Val.
also. It's
Seems to get a really good pit entry as he was a little bit further back before pitting in. Doug Newman now in the pits as well from fourth place. So we will see if Brett can get around fast enough and regain that fourth place position. Brett just kind of around in the last little set of corners here. But Doug is out and away, and looks like Doug will hold that fourth place spot. Yep, Brett just coming down the straight, and Doug just exiting the pits. Yep, we see Brett just popping in view over the crest there. Doug, good job on the pit strategy. That's fourth place for Doug.
and a pretty safely secured fourth place for Doug. This gap will also, I believe. Oh, Bruno is disconnected. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Wonder what happened there. He was running in ninth place, so
This gap
it's gonna
will also
gonna hurt.
securely give Michael third in the championship.
Which is great for Michael. I mean, really strong performance from him all season. This race is no different.
Walter coming down pit road. Gotta get
Walter
that thing stopped.
hops in the box, gets his tires changed up, and then he's back and ready to have some more fun.
About 30 minutes left. This is probably going to be the last stop for them.
Yeah, now they're just gonna be out and racing and then try to hold those tires on for as long as possible. And
Perhaps some of the early pitters, they should be good.
yeah, I think Philip was the first one in the pits. But he should be okay to the end. I mean, we might see more tire fall off from him than the others who decide to extend their second stint and pit later. But we'll see how it pans out.
Ren is now in the pits, driving past the ambulance.
The amber lamps.
Yep. Ren and Matt battling only 4/10 of a second. Matt looking to overtake.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. They've been pretty close as well. Looks like Matt has been able to gain some of that time on track and is ready to battle for that ninth place spot.
Thomas coming into the pits has now almost effectively granted him fourth in the championship.
No, it's great for Thomas. I mean, he's been pretty strong all season as well. So solid performance from him today. And very consistent as well. Thomas has been pretty consistent in his lap times, and he's been getting quite a few bonus points, race over race for his lap over lap consistency over that long hour 45-minute race.
The other good news, to quote the legendary 1996 Toyota Grand Prix of Monterey, Val Di Pietro is in a position in the is in a virtually unassailable position in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Val's just been consistent race over race,
Yeah,
more
he's
than
just
anyone else. I mean, just always at the front, always battling it out. So, um, you know, Collins seems to be getting the better of him this race, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Val's just had the upper hand, and that's all it's going to be.
Matt Alexander has spun in the last corner.
That
He's gonna
gives
lose 2
Carlos
places.
Ferry that 10th place spot, and he is now breathing down Ren's neck for 9th. Let's see if he tries to move on the inside. Yes, he does. Gets the pass done pretty cleanly into the first corner here.
Ren might be able to try something back on the chicane or on the straight though, as long as he can keep that distance.
Absolutely, right? As long as you're staying within that draft range, then, you know, you can make some stuff happen. These 2017 spec Formula 3 cars do not have DRS. The 2018 and newer cars, along with featuring the flip-flop or the halo, as it's called, have DRS. So yeah, it's one element that is missed from these cars that would probably bring a little bit of excitement on the straights, right? Having that little flap open to stall the rear wing and give you some extra straight line speed.
I mean, particularly, yeah, it would make a lot of them. You'd see a lot more of the draft coming into play. Even though at that point it wouldn't technically be draft, it would really just be like having a faster car.
Absolutely. Yeah, the straight line advantage is pretty significant, especially on a track like Paul Ricard here, where you have two pretty long straights back to back with that chicane kind of in the middle separating the two. You know, makes a big difference.
Ren is catching Carlos. See if he'll be able to do anything. Just over 25 minutes left.
Oop, Randy stopped on the track for some reason. Not sure what happened there. If he got a cut penalty or slowdown.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But he's kind of off and moving again. Yeah, his car's running very slowly. I'm not sure what the issue is.
Philip is now in the pits from 8th.
Oh, we have to go for another stop. Wonder if he roasted his tires.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe not enough fuel, maybe a quick splash. Yeah, that's about the length of a quick splash, I would guess.
Absolutely. Phil
Right.
rejoining in 11th place, so that's costed him a few positions to say the least.
Randy gets it going again. Maybe? They might have issues? Oh, I think he's good.
Yeah, he's getting going again. Check in with Ren here, who's pretty close to Carlos here. Carlos getting by him a couple laps back, but Ren just kind of biding his time, trying to keep that pace up with Carlos and see if he can mount an attack over the last couple minutes of the race. Very close on pace. Ren seems to have a bit of a slower last lap, but is clawing some of that gap back. So we'll see if he can make an impression and get that 8th place spot.
Yeah, certainly have to see. Gaps are pretty stagnant. Well, Renson is gaining on Carlos.
So another Paul Ricard fun fact.
Yeah.
Paul Ricard was the first commercial sponsor of the Tour de France in 1948.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Pickup trucks on the tour displayed the Ricard colors, the colors of the Ricard liquor company, and they provided free music concerts along the route. Sorry, is this 1948 or is this like 2012? Because this just sounds like Forza Horizon to me. But like in the 40s.
That is pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Ren slowing down. What happened? Oh, blue flag.
Womp womp.
Randy has passed Bruno.
Yep, Bruno unfortunately disconnecting, so Randy gets that 15th place spot.
With only 15 cars running, it is now mathematically impossible for Val to finish outside of the top 3, as it wasn't already obvious. Val can
Dang,
literally park it right now.
dang, dang, dang. Top
Question:
three of
do you have free cam enabled?
I do not, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I
Disregard.
might.
I was going to suggest a track tour.
Ooh. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Actually, what's the free cam button? I might have it enabled. I just can't remember.
F7 rather.
Oh yeah.
Move the arrow keys and you look around. There you go. There we go. We can do a track tour.
All right, let's zoom out here. Get up in the sky a little bit. So let's point ourselves. Oh, look at us. Flying over France. How beautiful.
There it is.
Yep, so let
Field
us.
control. You can go a lot faster.
Oh, what a time to be alive. Oh, beautiful. All right, we're learning. We're learning with you at home, folks.
Let's watch from the perspective of a marshal. Let's find a marshal post. Let's watch from the start finish. I'm gonna watch from the start finish stand.
Want to feel what it's like to hold the flag? Oy,
It's me. I am the grand marshal. I am the starter.
It is 5:18 and 19 seconds all the time at Paul Ricard.
That's true.
I am the Grand Marshal. I wave the flags and things.
That's true. He does that.
Other
The rich
marshals
young
also wave
marshal.
flags.
It's true. That's the stage we're at in the race, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing a track tour.
All right, so why don't we start at the start-finish straight and do a little tour of the track. So
Yeah.
we come down the start-finish straight here, going under the bridge as the cars kind of rip on by. Now, Josh, I don't know if you want to attempt the names of the corners.
No.
All right, I don't either. Why are they all
Turn one.
French? I mean, it's a French track, but why are they all
That's
French?
true.
Gosh dang. All right, turn
Why are there
one.
3 options for turn 1?
Nice little swoopy S section there as we see a car kind of whip on by. There we can see our red zone and blue zone that we were talking about earlier, the different compounds of asphalt that have different properties, different grip properties to help slow the cars down in lieu of normal gravel traps and things because, hey, we're French. We have to be different. Going into the little chicane section here, the first hairpin on the track. So we got our nice little S turn here. And the first hairpin going to the slow section onto the back straight. Coming down, flying over, all that good stuff. And this is basically flat out this section onto the back straight, which kind of comes along. This is where we've seen quite a few passes being made over the course of the race. I mean, you can see that Paul Ricard looks fairly similar, basically throughout the entire lap. So it's a tricky track to learn and really nail your braking points and things because I mean there's less landmarks, let's say, that you can rely on versus some other tracks, for example. Speeding up here into the first chicane. We've seen some interesting paddles here over the race. Cars kind of running wide and going wheel to wheel, trying to get through there. Getting a good exit is absolutely critical for this second portion of the straight here, which we'll zoom through into our fast right-hander. This is actually a really fun section of track, flat out through that section, and then you have this reducing radius corner up ahead here, which you really have to kind of trail brake in, tuck the nose in, really use the camber in the track that you can see there to your advantage to get a really good exit for this next section. You can see there's quite a lot of banking in that asphalt, so you really want to take advantage, stay tight to the inside. Moving to this left-hand section, tricky, reducing radius. Really want to aim for that cone there, that little cone if you can. That's the late
Going by
apex of the
right there,
corner.
as you can see right there, going by you, Renson and Matt battling for ninth.
Very, very close together. We're going to have
Within
to
a
check in
second.
with them in a second. Coming through this next little left-hand section, cars zooming on by, and then you have your final corner. Tricky little hairpin here. We've seen a lot of good exits. We've seen a lot of bad exits. And back on the front straight. Here's that tricky pit entrance that we've been talking about. You can see, I mean, it's basically a very, very tight chicane. It's very like Monaco-esque because the Armco sticks out so much. And you really have to get yourself slowed down right away as the pit speed limit sign, 60 kilometers an hour, your line is right there. So you got to be very, very careful in terms of how you approach that pit entry. Make sure you're not speeding by.
Oh,
Sit
Matt misses one of those corners. Gonna lose a lot of time to Ren.
Absolutely. Now about 1.3, 1.4 seconds behind. So that's cost him a little bit in that battle for ninth place. Still 16 minutes, 40 seconds left in the race. So we will see if they can make something happen and get some spicy little battle going before the end of the race.
Trying to look, the gap's up to 1.2 seconds. That might be losing time, actually.
Yeah, up to 1.5 now. So
Let's see how this goes.
we'll see what happens. Should we take one more ad break before the last
Let's do
15 minutes of the
one
race?
more ad break.
All right, let's take a word from our sponsors.
Minute 16 to go.
Absolutely. So let's take a little word from our sponsors and support the people who are so gracious in supporting us in the series. So we will defer to them for their ads.
Big thanks to Philip at DriverMod.ca, who has been so instrumental in putting these OTA esports series on. You can check out his website, DriverMod.ca, where he has all of his musings and writings all about going fast for time attack and otherwise. So make sure you check it out, DriverMod.ca.
If you want to support the folks that put on the series, make sure you go to OntarioTimeAttack.ca, click on the shop icon, and you'll see there is a brand new OTA e-racing t-shirt. It's awesome blue shirt. We got our little steering wheel on there, cars zooming by, and all the folks that support our series. So make sure you check it out, OntarioTimeAttack.ca, and make sure to click on shop. Thanks. And we are back riding along with Doug Newman. Actually, that had a little bit of an issue on the commercial break. Pitted in from fourth place and actually disconnected from the server. So not sure if it was a technical issue or penalty or something of that nature. But now he's rejoined and now running all the way down to 11th. So bit of a tough break for Doug in this last 14 minutes of the race thereabouts. So we'll see what happens if he can kind of squeeze his way into the top 10 and try to recover some points.
You really hate to hear it.
Absolutely. I mean, especially so late into the race. He was doing a really good job, running a really solid race up in the top five, and really to lose 6 positions in an instant basically is you hate to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Carlos is in the pits out of 10th.
Yep, seems to just be making his exit now. Not sure if Doug's going to be able to catch up for that top 10 position. but
Maybe not.
no, no. Matt and Ren still really close together. The closest battle that we've had, I think, throughout the entire race session that we've had tonight, and they've just been keeping each other honest and very, very similar pace-wise. So Matt's within 7/10 thereabouts, 8/10. Let's see if he can actually make a move on Ren for that 7th place spot that he's been fighting pretty hard for.
Yeah, I mean, 12 minutes left. Time is ticking down. You're in the
Absolutely.
last quarter hour of the season.
Yeah, the top three, I mean, honestly, the top six, really not much to report. They've just been chugging along, have a decent gap to each other, and they're just kind of turning their laps and trying to keep it clean. Um,
There's a
but
battle here for 8th.
this battle for 7th is really, really quite something.
Yeah, sorry, battle for 7th. Matt's just kind of been there. I don't know if he has the pace to catch Ren. I really hope he does.
Seems to get a good run through that second to last corner. See if he can get a good exit out of the final hairpin there. Seems to get a decent exit, but not too much to Renison here. It's going to be, say, around 6/10, 5/10 of a second, I think, by the end of the straight. We'll see what happens on the braking zone here. Deep in. Pretty good run through that corner. Falls further behind. I think Ren's been able to carry much more speed through that first little section there. We'll see what happens through this little chicane here and the first tighter hairpin.
Ren's still keeping that lead going.
Yeah, I know
That's close, but he's not really able to close it and get by. He
absolutely,
might
and
be just close enough now for the draft, but no.
see that first sector, I think Ren is carrying a lot more speed through those first couple of corners, where it's absolutely critical for him to maintain the gap, right? Because if he can't maintain that or increase the gap rather through those corners, then it gives Matt kind of open season on that back straight, right? If he can close in within the draft, but you know, Ren's really just kind of pushing hard and seems to be getting the job done because it's keeping Matt just outside of that range of the draft,
I think
which is really helping him through the second half of the track.
it might just be down to the closing speed, or it might just be down. Sorry, not the closing speed. It might just be down to the confidence of the driver, because Ren just seems to be getting faster out of the corners. I don't think it's necessarily a tire thing, because they stopped similar to each other. But
Absolutely. I mean, Matt's been able to kind of close in on corner entry. I think he's kind of going in later on the brakes, but Ren's been able to get really good exits and able to maintain that cornering speed, right? Because it's one thing obviously to enter a corner with speed, but if entering quickly means that you compromise your minimum apex speed or your exit perhaps, then really there's nothing for it, right? It's all about maintaining that overall momentum and not just trying to send it as hard as you can.
yeah, I mean, you got to be safe to win. Let's see. Branson getting around Randy. Randy might let Matt by, might not. Depends. Randy breaking early to allow the battle to happen. Very nice of him. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. That's a good little, rule following for the blue flags there. Letting the battle continue, not getting in the driver's way, and just kind of keep on chugging along at your own pace. So good on Randy for letting the boys by here safely.
Under 9 minutes remaining. Things are going to be getting close. Ren might be feeling the pressure. Colin has a pretty dominant lead.
He's been maintaining that 9 to 10 second gap to Val pretty much this entire last stint.
Cutting that last chicane a little bit. I think he's going to get away with it, though.
Yeah, no,
Gap's
he's keeping that gap
0.7
pretty.
seconds.
Yeah, keeping that pretty honest. I mean, Ren did have. We'll see what happens with the lap. Oh, I wonder if Ren got a cut penalty or something because he's now had to drop back quite a bit, and Matt's within his sights now. So I wonder this last corner is gonna be absolutely critical.
He's lifted to avoid the penalty. He's gonna cost him time though. Philip, slow on track. Maybe he has a slowdown. Maybe he has. Now he's getting going. Thought he had a slowdown. I got deceived. This is now the battle for 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been riding along with them for quite a few laps, and it's been fairly close. Despite Ren slowing down to avoid that cut penalty, he's reopened that gap a little bit. I mean, it is closer than the lap before, but you know, he's been really fast for this first sector, and you know, it's really helped him maintain his lead over Matt.
Anthony slows him up a little bit. Ren now close enough, or Matt now close enough probably to get the draft off Ren.
A touch, but really only at the end of the straight here. You know, Ren's been really, really good through that first sector, and it's been critical in him maintaining that lead.
Getting a good run out of the corner.
Whereas Matt had not a great exit,
Oh,
and
actually, yeah.
now he's
It
over a
looked
second
good,
behind
and
and really dropping
it
back.
looked good until I looked at the timing screen.
Yeah, for sure. Like we say, these corners are very deceptive, right? And how they look versus how you actually approach them. You know, part of the reason why Paul Ricard is a pretty tricky track to make your way around.
6 minutes remain. Colin just getting around the lapped car of Thomas. Ooh, Matt gets past Renson.
Nice pass from Matt there.
I think Ren might
Ren
have made a mistake.
made a mistake, and Matt just tended to capitalize on that and where he needed to. Now, what's going to be interesting is,
Oh, Matt goes wide.
ooh, and Ren gets a really good exit. Is he gonna have him into turn one here?
Might be able to get him back.
Closing up.
Probably only have this. They're probably 3 laps
He's got to
left.
go to the inside if he wants to make that move. I think he's gonna. Oh no, he's gonna back out of it. He's gonna back out of it. Try to get a good run through. I mean, as we know, Ren's been really fast through this first sector.
He
So
lifted really easy.
yeah.
Or sorry, really early. He might know something we don't. I don't think he has a slowdown, but is he saving fuel? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean that gap is now over a
Uh,
second. So I wonder if it's a fueling issue.
Could be a tire. I'm looking at it. He's baby on the throttle. We'll see. If he lifting coasts into the corner, then we know it's a fuel issue.
Ooh, Anthony getting all out of sorts there. Seems to be back on it. We'll see what happens now with the chicane. Yeah, no, it seems to be pretty normal throttle traces. So,
I'd just be trying to be careful.
ooh,
Not
get
do
a
that.
little tank slapper for you, and that gap's even further behind. So Ren's charge in 7th really kind of falling apart late in the
This
game.
might play to Val's advantage. Colin has to get around probably 3 lap cars over like the next lap. They're all within a couple seconds. Somebody pulling over, slowing. Randy pulling over, slowing way down to give way. Philip and Laszlo still running their line. They're allowed to do that.
Absolutely, as the car that is doing the lapping, you have to pass the cars that you are lapping safely.
All 4 of these cars are on different laps, which I think goes to show what this general race is like.
Yeah, it's just big gaps. I mean, look, even the top 7 really. I mean, save for Val and Colin. It doesn't even register. It's not even registering time. They're actually, you know, multiple tenths a lap behind the car in front.
For context, there are 4 cars on the lead lap because Colin has just lapped Thomas. He's also gotten past Philip. Ren has lost 3 seconds. Colin will probably be coming to 2 to go here. here's where we will find out if the strategy works.
Yeah, Colin just approaching lap traffic again.
Colin's not going to try and risk it. Doesn't have to make an unnecessary pass.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Val is kind of closing that gap a little bit behind, so it's trying to make that move and lose the minimal time, but then again, not trying to putting himself in a compromising position, which would cost him his race, which would, I mean, not be optimal this late in the game.
Colin going to get the draft off Laszlo.
It's going to squeeze
Gonna be able to
by.
get by going
Laszlo's
into
going
the
to let him
corner.
by on the inside there. I don't imagine Laszlo contesting that too hard.
Yeah, no.
Colin really showing them how it's done through there. I mean, really a really good line through there, keeping it really neat and tidy. You can see the run he's got on the lap cars behind already.
Val's not going to catch him with that, getting a bit sideways in the chicane.
Yeah, Val's been really been struggling for rear end grip, it seems, towards the end of his stints. So I'm sure now he's going to be suffering. I imagine this is going to be the next lap is going to be the final lap.
I would assume so. Coming to the line, Colin will take the final lap. Probably going to take with about a minute left. So drivers will complete 54 laps here.
Yeah, based on my notes, it looks like 54 laps was the prediction in the beginning of the race, so it seems to be dead on.
Who predicted it? Was it me?
Believe it was Colin or Val, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Oh, Colin getting nice
Colin
nice
getting
little
sideways.
sideways action there.
Moderate slide.
Yeah, a little showboating never hurt anybody.
That's true. I mean, might as well have fun with it.
Absolutely. I mean,
He is very firmly in second in the championship.
yeah, I mean, Colin's just run an absolutely brilliant race from start to finish. Just very consistent. Has had really good luck with his pit strategy, and I mean, it's paid off in dividends. Look at the gap to Val and even Michael behind. So really good solid race from Colin.
Colin halfway through the lap, coming through the chicane. Last lap official on the timing, as time has expired. Went down the back straight one final time.
Yeah, coming through that fast right-hander, flat out. Colin just kind of sending the car on through. Going through this reducing radius little corner here. Got to have a touch of a lift, a little bit more throttle. Get it hooked in on that apex. Use the camber to your advantage.
Carlos will not be able to catch Ren as they come onto the last lap.
Yep, so they're completing their last lap now. Let's sit back in with Colin. Just about to round the final corner.
Through the second last corner. Colin is going to come out of the final corner.
Dominant race from start to finish.
Dominant race. He will win the battle, but not the war, as Val comes out of the final corner and will secure his place as the champion of Season 3 of the OTA Enduro Series.
Solid performance from Val. I mean, we expected from him really. He's consistently at the top, and this is another just display of his absolute, driving dominance. Michael coming across the line in third place. The newcomer to the series, one of the couple newcomers to the series, and really staking his claim and showing himself as a force to be reckoned with. So good job on Michael. Really solid race from him.
And also a shout out to Brett in his debut, going to finish a solid fourth. Going to be the last car on the lead lap, but that's respectable when there's 4 cars on the lead lap.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're staying in the lead lap with this pack, you're doing something right.
There's still a battle between Ren and Carlos.
Ooh, it's gonna be.
Race not over for them. They got to get around. Carlos tries. Whoa! Sends it in way deep. Not gonna work.
This is nice little spicy battle to finish things off.
Oh, we might be able to try
Ren's
something.
he's gonna try something to the inside. Ren's gonna have to go around wide.
Both gonna miss the apex.
Oy, ooh.
As long as Ren can keep it around the outside here, he'll be able to be in a great position for the final corner. Gonna back out, try the undercut. Not gonna work for him though.
No, and Ren's gonna end up
Dive
behind.
bomb,
Let's see
nope.
if he can make the last corner stick.
Oh, just a bit
Oh
too slow to the corner.
man,
Could have had a great run out of the final corner. Oh,
Carlos
don't
8th.
weave too early.
Oh, little touch of the
Nope,
wall.
he's gonna take 8th. Anthony coming around will secure 13th.
Solid run from
That will-
Anthony as well. Despite a few hiccups, 13th place, not bad in this company. Yeah, that's our
Val
race finish.
doing his cooldown lap, and that's our season finished. Now coming around, do we want to get a look at doing some driver interviews?
Let's get the drivers in and get them chatting.
Let's bring our race winner in first. Let's bring Colin in. Let me go grab him.
Sounds good. It's been a great season, and
And we have Colin, the race winner. Colin,
Nice.
how you doing? Congrats on the win.
Oh, I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
It's a great race, my man. You really kind of just dominated from start to finish. So it was just really awesome to watch. You were just flawless, honestly.
Yeah, I was feeling, I guess I was just fast today. Right before the race, Michael was pointing out that I hadn't qualied on first and I hadn't won a race yet. And so I just did both today, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Not the last race. Just
Pole and the win.
center. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
How was the strategy? Everybody seemed to go for a two-stop strategy. I think there might have been one or two outliers.
Yeah, we weren't entirely sure before the start of the race, but it became quite apparent mid-race that the tires really do fall off at like lap 18 or so. And it just so happens that if you pit in like 18 laps, you do 2 pit stops and you've got fresh tires all the way through the race. Just a couple of laps where they're, falling off toward the end. And probably a couple more if you are hard on the tires anywhere around.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Anything of interest in the race that you wanted to discuss or anything? I know there wasn't anything too crazy that happened.
Well, everyone did a really good job with passing and being passed, and I had a bit of a skirmish with Val early on, but
Yeah.
points wise, it didn't really matter what happened between Val and I, so there was no pressure there. It just so happened that he made a small error and let me back by immediately after passing me, and then I guess I just ran away with it by doing the 1 lap undercut. So I came back out on fresh tires while he did one more slightly slower lap, and then Val did miss his pit box very, very slightly and have to back up into it. I think.
That's what caused the gap. We were wondering about that because you guys were very, very close. I mean, yeah, the undercut obviously makes a minor difference, but he came out quite a ways behind, so we were wondering if it was a long stop, right?
That's what really did it for him. Yeah, I think he missed the pit window or the pit box just very slightly on his braking there. And man, he's got some bad luck with pit stops, doesn't he?
No, it certainly seems that way, and it backed him right into Michael, and they had a little bit of an interesting on-track battle as well.
I think it sounded like they were having a good time back there. And honestly, yeah. I think Val was probably a little bit quicker than me on raw pace. He probably, if he had come out of the pits a little bit closer, got in the draft and made a pass and actually probably driven away. There's a chance, but I made very few mistakes that race. Only missing one braking zone by 20 meters this time, doing some mental math in the wrong spot on the track.
Hey, it happens, especially endurance racing. You gotta really try to do all your math on the straights before you hit your braking zones, because oh yeah, no, I've been there.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Alrighty, well. Thanks for coming out. Let's see if we can grab Val next, Colin. Congrats on the win once again.
Yeah, congrats on the win, Colin. It was a great race.
Champion.
Thank you. That was a fun season. Bye, guys.
Take care. Just waiting for Val to join.
Oh, but help if I actually moved him into the right channel. Come on.
Here we go.
There we go.
We're sitting with the series champion and second place, Val. Pretty solid performance. We heard from Colin that you actually missed your pit box, which I guess explains why you kind of fell back after your first stint.
Yeah, that kind of took the wind out of my sails. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened. My pit box is really close to pit entry, so I don't have a lot of time after diving into the pit, having the game lock up the car for me. I don't have enough time to get the car in the right gear, and then like all my dashboards change because you're in the pits, and it wants to show you your pit strategy. So it's like, I don't know what gear I'm in. I'm trying to get down to first because I don't want to bog out of the pits, and then oops, I'm in reverse.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah, and then once you miss it twice, and then it's like you're 15 seconds behind. But like it was such a shame because I was a little bit faster than Colin on pace on average, but like it wasn't enough.
Yeah, like you were clawing back at the end. I mean, you were quite a ways behind, and you kind of got backed into Michael, honestly, which had was very interesting to watch, and it had a little bit of a fun battle between you two. But yeah, near the end, you were able to claw quite a bit of that back, but obviously it just cost you way too much time. I mean, you're not the luckiest person with pit stops, I guess.
No, I guess not.
This season.
It's a shame. Like, yeah, I think I've won the championship, but like, I think I had the pace and the strat to win the race. It's just I bungled it up, so now I'm disappointed after all that work. It's like,
you know what? In fairness, and not to be too hard on yourself, that the pit entry at Paul Ricard does you no favors.
Pit entry at Paul Ricard sucks.
It's
well, extra so when Assetto Corsa doesn't let you control the car and there's no pit speed penalties. So that means you just yeet the car into the entrance, and then Assetto just like locks the brakes down, because that's like the fastest way to get in there is to just go at top speed because you can't get a penalty.
Yeah, and then it just locks the brakes and tries to haul you down to 80 kph or whatever the speed limit is. Yeah.
I should have practiced that a little bit more so that I was more prepared, but the close pit box did me no favors.
No, for sure. Well, yeah, you have no run up. It's basically just
Yeah, I think
on the brakes.
when I yeet into the pits, my pit box is close enough that I'm almost like the game is still breaking me into my pit stop.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I did it to myself by, trying to maximize the pit entry.
Yeah, no,
I was just really looking forward to a race with Colin. I think I have fastest lap though.
You might. I'm not sure. So, given the entire year, I mean, first of all, you had to finish below 9th if Colin won.
Right.
To lose the championship. You've been pretty good the entire year.
Yeah, a lot of second places.
Yeah, that helps.
It'd be nice to have another win. Especially I think I have the fastest time on the server and I had the fastest time in the race. But when you can't
Val,
convert that to a W.
You actually had the fastest time by a good margin. Your fastest lap was a 1:55.333.
Yeah.
Collins was the next closest. He was the only other person actually to hit the 1:55.
Yeah, we both did that on our first stint when we were sort of chasing each other and sizing each other up.
Yeah. So Collins' fastest lap was 1:55.680.
The really interesting part was that neither of us could get anywhere close to our opening stint pace later in the race, even though we had similar fuel loads and similar tires.
Yeah, absolutely. May just be track condition, driver fatigue probably has something to do with it as well.
Fast. That's
true. No. Oh, I'm disappointed that I gave up on Colin so easy on the start. Like my start was really good.
You had a really
I have one of those formula wheels that lets me set a bite point. And I think it gave me the slight edge on Colin, who was just dumping the clutch.
Yeah, no, that little bit of clutch slip really got you launched out of there.
Yeah, it was an exciting start, and I just sort of like gave up anything I gained right at the beginning by trying to tuck in super early.
Somebody looped it on the start.
I didn't see who that was.
Somebody at the back. I think it was Anthony. Might have just put the foot down and just spun. I don't know where I was going with that. Let's invite Michael. One sec.
Oh, he went to go get Michael.
He went to go get Michael. Yeah, no, it was. I mean, hats off to you, Val. Like, great season overall. Obviously, a little bit of a tough race today. But still a solid P2 performance. Only 4 cars on the lead lap, which is bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, Michael was a good push this season. Like, Michael's enthusiasm throughout the season, like with the practice and the pit strats
About
and all of that
practice.
stuff, like
Absolutely.
it made me want to practice.
Yeah,
Usually I don't
Michael
practice for sim races, and Michael made me want to practice.
Yeah, Michael, as the newcomer, honestly, you've put on quite the show. Solid performances, a race win, a P3, a podium today, and I believe a podium in the championship. Like, hats off to you, man, coming in, obviously relatively fresh and new to this whole kind of group of folks, and you just been putting in the time, putting in the effort, Mr. Practice, and just, showing everybody what's up when you really kind of put your nose to the grindstone and work at it. So hats off to you.
I appreciate it. This was a huge step in just my automotive everything. I think as far as like my driving ability, I had hit previously a wall trying to get into ACC. I did like 1 or 2 races, was really slow and couldn't get up to pace. I got really frustrated because my friends were getting much faster and I couldn't get there. And Jackson kind of roped me into. He's like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. You should do it. It's a fun, relaxed environment. And I was like, that sounds much more fun than trying to, generate safety rating in an online sim,
Yeah.
And after doing the Sunday stuff, like I was like, oh, this is definitely a good environment to learn. And then when we added a little bit of prize in there, I was just, I was very fixated and focused on practicing. And when I had my first good result, the Civic, I was like, let's go for this. I think Thomas will still get the 3rd in the championship, though. I don't think I did enough today.
Correct.
Yeah,
it was actually really close. You had to finish 2 spaces ahead of him. You basically had to not be next to him.
So Doug DQ'd himself. That was gonna happen. Like Doug was well ahead of Tom. Tom was slowing. That was gonna happen. And dang.
What happened to Doug?
He had a cut at the end of the lap, and then thought to himself, "I'll serve it in the first corner," and then cross the finish line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same thing that happened to Colin and me.
Classic Assetto Corsa.
Yeah.
You guys need smaller monitors so that banner is, not so far up.
They're just bigger.
You can actually make it bigger.
Just move the banner to the center.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, actually, you would have gotten 3rd if Brett scored points. But Brett didn't score points because he just joined in the last round. So
is that how they did that?
You. Yeah. I thought, see, if they had just eliminated, like, hey, he finished 4th, so nobody gets the 4th place points, then you would have gotten 3rd.
Yeah.
Because the point differential was 1. You had to get a point differential of 2.
And not to get all mushy, but this has been a win for me anyway, because I've gained a lot of people that I can like learn from and hang out with and play racing games with. So it's
it's true.
I never had other people that would try hard from time to time. So
no, man, the community is what it's all about, and that's beyond all the fun little on-track battles. It's the biggest thing from this.
I was really looking forward to an on-track battle or 2 here, but it sort of got strung out.
Also, for context, for Val to I did the calculations. For Val to lose a podium, he had to finish 16th, and Michael had to win.
There you go.
Yeah, like Colin would have had to beat him by 5. Thomas would have had to beat him by like 11 or 12, and Michael would have had to win the race.
Colin drove so well. I was stunned. He came into the server and did like 30 laps of practice and laid down a 55.2. And I was just like, I was literally looking at setup like, is there a DRS button? I found
it took
DRS.
us a while to find that pace, and he set that and then didn't come back for like days.
He's just typical Colin, right? He's like, I asked him, I was like, hey, what'd you do there? He's like, well, I took all the fuel out of the car. I was like, well, yes, thanks, Colin, for the deep strat, the big brain move. Appreciate it.
Yeah, just know, hey, have you tried running less fuel?
Tried qualifying better?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Literally.
I was secretly hoping that he would like silently let me catch up, like in the Ferraris.
Oh, just lift.
But no, like
like,
in
face
the
out.
Ferraris, yeah, he forgot that I was gaining on him, and he was just cruising late in the race. And then with like 5 laps to go, he's like, "Oh, you're in drafting range. When did you get there?"
That is pretty funny.
Can't get too complacent. It's a long
Yeah,
race.
I tried so hard to close that gap. It just didn't happen.
You got super after like you pulled away from me. You got super quiet.
I was concentrating real hard.
That was a fun little back and forth, though. I was glad we got to race a little bit. Like, and I didn't want to push it too much because I knew I was like, he's definitely going to get past me eventually, and I just wanted to settle my race and not screw it up. Because at that point, I was just banking on finishing 2 spots ahead of Tom. I wasn't trying to take second from him.
Yeah.
That's the key.
I wouldn't. I was going to make a mistake having him behind me. I'm just not good with a car behind me under pressure yet. But
Yeah, it's just not driving in your mirrors. That's the key, and just try to, you know.
Did you guys see when I went way deep into the chicane because I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
watching him in my mirrors?
Was that you? I don't know if it was you. There was somebody. I think it was Philip. Where like straight up, we just thought he had a brake failure in one corner. Like he just missed a chicane like hard.
Well, that might have been me. I was worried about my pit strat, and because I'm on triples, that window is all the way on the edge of my right
turn
screen, so
3?
I can't look forward and adjust my fuel. And I wanted to go 2 clicks up on fuel, and when I looked back, I wasn't going to make the chicane, and I tried to turn in and just like airplaned the car over the curbing.
Was it at turn 3?
No,
Oh, okay.
this was at the back straight chicane.
Oh, ours was at turn 3.
I'm glad you didn't see that then.
Yeah. You almost got away with it. Alrighty. I mean, anything else?
I think it was
that's
a great
it.
season. I'm kind of sad it's over.
Yeah, I'm
We're gonna do
bummed,
another
but
one.
I appreciate y'all doing the casting. I know that's a lot of work.
Well, thank you.
We
I hope
appreciate
you have
it.
fun
Thank you.
doing it.
Oh, it's a ton of fun. We get to, talk shop, say stupid facts, and watch you guys race, which is honestly the best part of it. You
Yeah,
guys
this
have
guy
been very,
earlier
very
was like,
close.
"Yo, fun fact: France has 12 time zones." I'm like, "No, it doesn't." Like, what do you... He missed where it's like, and all French territories. All
Are
right,
you guys like Wikipediaing each other throughout the race?
Yeah,
Well,
France is home to many famous French people.
Yeah, literally. My man's like,
That's the
France
fact. That's it.
I'm like, yeah, we're doing France facts. He's like, France is home to many famous French people. I was like, yeah, and then he didn't elaborate on the point. I was like, okay, all
Like-
right.
Are you guys more or less excited for the Formula One race?
What, Paul Ricard?
Yeah, they're Paul Ricard
Oh,
this weekend, I think.
Paul Ricard is this weekend, and it's just it's never a good race.
Very
at Paul
eloquent.
Ricard for
Tell me
whatever
more.
reason. I don't know. It's one of those tracks. Everything looks the same. How was it in the driver's seat?
Honestly, this
Paul
track
Ricard.
grows on me.
I find
like
it's a
it.
really fun track to drive. It's less fun to watch because there's no like, there's no like landmarks or something like points
A
of reference.
static
It's
camera
just-
on turn 2 would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, but when you look at like the track through with pictures, you think, oh, it's flat. There's no grass. It looks really boring. And then you drive it, and there's a lot of interesting corners, like the back straight chicane. Turn 1 and turn 2 are absolutely wild.
Yeah, you have to be very committed into there to be actually on pace. I think that's what separated everybody else's lap times from the top 3.
Is this a
So that
Silka
one
track?
corner.
Yeah.
It is, really. It doesn't drive like one.
Nope, it's not.
Okay, that makes sense.
Anything else, or
Oh, you can bring other people in.
yeah, well, I guess we can.
I think Kevin was in chat before you brought us over. You can bring in the OTA director.
Hey, Kevin's here. He's the guy.
He's the guy.
The man.
The guy for what?
Kevin, what are we doing for season 4?
For season 4, we don't know yet. We still got to figure out things. So technically, the results aren't official just yet, right? Joe still has to do his little accounting work.
There are 19 scoring loops around the track.
I mean, from the sounds of it, like, do we? Okay, so before we go to season 4, do we have a consensus that we need to introduce a rule to somehow take away the victory from Val?
Success battles.
Are we
I've
assessing
only
Val a
won
handicap?
season 1 and season 3,
I'm just kidding.
Only.
Well done, though,
and I didn't
Val.
even win that many races this season.
But you're consistent top 3.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
consistently second best.
But hey, consistently second best and most consistent to show up. That's why you won the season. So
That's
good,
true.
congratulations there.
Thank you.
Most likely, anyways. Like assuming nothing's irregular.
Nothing is final yet. This is all alleged.
Yeah, this is all alleged or as we do say in OTA, unofficial.
Unofficial, yes.
Okay.
Unofficial. But again, thanks, many thanks to Jordan and Josh for you guys commentating and taking some of the work from me. That's much appreciated from myself and also from One Terror Time Attack.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. I put in a sufficient amount of work.
So excited for the real life hangouts.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
I don't like people. I really don't want to talk to you guys.
Okay, we're gonna wave to your Marshall post as we go by at GP.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Look for the one mooning you.
Can you make a sign?
I wouldn't go that far. I'll wave.
Wait, is that a yellow flag or you the red flag? Oh crap, I can't tell.
I'll gesture.
Make a special meatball flag just for me.
Yeah.
Just spot the ratty Civic hatchback going around.
Maybe I don't know. It depends. It's a lapping weekend. I might be if I'm with somebody I know. Well, I won't make any problems.
But yeah, we're looking forward to starting off our real season in just under 2 weeks at Toronto Motorsports Park, and then after that it's GP.
Should be pretty fun.
Should be a lot of fun.
Should
Nice
be
to be
tons
back
of
out
fun.
on the track for real this time, and then stepping away from the sim rig. I'm sure we're all excited to actually go outside.
No, I like sim racing. Keep sim racing.
Actually, one thing I want to point out too, for everyone watching, like I mean, we've all heard about all the new curbs at Toronto Motorsports Park, and to their credit, they actually removed them all out.
Yay!
Oh,
Parking curbs do not belong at a racetrack, as it turns out.
You know, they've been doing a lot of good work with the track itself. They've spent tons of money on it, and this was a slight oversight. They listened to the feedback and they got it taken care of. So, got to commend them for understanding that and fixing it.
Yeah, good on TPTMP for working so quick, and obviously a big thanks to obviously Ontario Time Attack and HIP as well for supporting the series.
Yeah.
DriverMod as well. Philip at DriverMod for setting up the server and making sure that all the racers have a home that we can race against each other week over week.
Yeah, and keep an eye out on DriverMod.ca as Phil continues to chronicle his Time Attack FRS. He's going to be competing in CSCS and then in OTA the week after. So he's got a lot of driving to do and real life driving to do in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for him.
Absolutely. And remember to pick up a shirt too. We got that OTA esports shirt now in the shop. We've been seeing the ads over the past couple of weeks for those things, so make sure you pick one up. Really nice little design done by Joe there, and yeah.
Awesome. I guess we're calling it quits then.
Yeah, I think that's it to sign off for the season. We thank everyone for joining in and watching along with us and listening to all our stupid facts during our races.
That's true.
Yeah,
thank you
everybody.
For your support during the season. We'll see everybody next season or for any other sporadic event here on the Ontario Time Attack.
all.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care.
See ya.